There we go. All right, guys, welcome to the Random Files. I'm Josh Turner, your host. And with me is, I'm going to say hi, Anthony.
Is it working? There we go. Just had a little bit of technical difficulties at first, but we got it figured out.
Yeah.
So here we go.
Let's see here. All right, guys. All right, let's bring on our co-hosts. There's Anna.
Hello. How are you tonight?
Is there an echo? I think it's my phone. Okay. Hey, what's going on, Anna? How are you tonight?
I'm good. How are you?
Good. I just came off of Blondes and Booze. We were talking
know.
about Satanism in America and how did it get to this point and what, whatever. Well, it's chipped away.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to watch the replay because I had family over, so I couldn't watch the. Was it live or was it a pre-record?
It was a live. Yeah, you can go back
Yeah.
and check the replay though.
Yeah, I'm going to. It's one of my favorite topics, so I'm definitely gonna watch it.
Yeah, I mean these people. That's what they are. I mean, call a spade a spade. People are dancing around what milly mouthing fiddle fart with it. I mean, that's what it is.
Yeah.
So, what do you have for us tonight, though? We have a show tonight. Going to bring Richard on, but it looks like he's messing with his camera or something there. Let me see what he's doing.
Still preparing.
There he is.
What's up, guys?
What's up?
Hey, how's it
What's
going?
up, Elite Psycho?
How are you?
Yeah. Oh, I like your hat.
Thank you.
What does
My
it say?
cousin Chad Carroll, construction. I'm at Chad's house right now. Shout out Chad Carroll.
Why are you leaving the
nice.
sticker on your head?
All right, you're not the only person that's giving me crap for that, but
Yeah, that's so weird. We're not teenagers anymore.
here's my cousin Chad right here.
My buddy Richard. I'm excited to watch you guys tonight.
great
I'm excited to watch you guys.
guy.
Nice.
But Chad, your cousin is wearing a sticker on his hat, so I'm gonna have to get rid of him.
Hey, Chad, pull it up for him.
We're
pull it off,
gonna
pull it
kick him off.
Now I am.
So this is your cousin. He has a construction company. He needs to come down to the United States and get away from all that Canadian mess up there. All that mess.
Yeah.
Yeah, no kidding.
We're just as a mess as you guys right now.
No, not quite. I'm in Texas.
Not quite. No.
Texas is a
No,
whole
they're-
other country,
they're
brother.
doing good.
We don't have all
they're
them
booming.
problems that the rest of the country is full of crap.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
It's a disaster down here, man, but it's a lot of fun.
Yeah. Well, at
It'd
least
be
you're having
fun.
fun.
Hey, you know what though? It's not 105 up there. I bet today it cooled off to the 80s because it rained, but it
Yeah,
was only
same
for a
here.
couple of hours. It rained up
Yeah.
there.
No,
Yeah,
but it's a
but
little
it's
bit
like
over.
crazy.
Oh, sorry. I thought you meant here.
So, Chad, how well do you know your cousin Richard?
I know him well enough. He's a great guy.
Yeah, he's a great guy, but do you know all the weird stuff about him?
I know some weird shit. I don't know all the weird shit. Yeah. I'm going to go watch in the other
You
room.
live behind the Tim Hortons dumpster?
Oh yeah, you didn't know that I live in the dumpster, Tim Hortons.
Oh
eh?
my god! Oh my
Yeah.
god! Yeah, I'm gonna go watch in the other room. I'm excited to watch you guys tonight.
Awesome.
All right, good to
All
see
right,
you,
right on.
cousin Chad.
Nice to meet you.
Yeah,
Cool.
Oh, that's Anna and that's Wolf. Sorry.
No, that's okay. Don't introduce us. We're nobody. We're just here.
Yeah, we're just
My
top
bad.
liver.
You're the one
Yeah,
that
we're
has the
here.
palace at the Tim Hortons. We don't.
You're the star. It's all right. We know
He's
we
the
know how
star.
it works around here.
Look at that smile. What a handsome guy. All right, he's a handsome guy.
We're up at Chad's
Now the
cottage here.
Richards will be like, he admitted he was gay. He said he likes Richard and wants to marry him. They'll go and they'll say we're at the Dancing Bear.
He's not
What-
the
what's it
only
called?
one.
What's it called? The Iron Bear.
Iron Bear.
Iron Bear.
He
I
wants
just
to
got back.
take him to the Iron Bear for Happy Meals.
I just got back from the Iron
Happy
Bear.
time.
Did you went to the Iron Bear? Down on 6th Street in Austin, Texas?
Yeah.
That's a cool looking. What is that kitchen you're in? It's cool.
Yeah,
looking.
that's Chad's place. It's a little messy right now, but he's got a beautiful cottage here.
Got a neat little house.
Way up north, yeah, loft and all that stuff. Another
That's
room.
cool.
Yeah,
How far away from you is that place?
Ooh, good 6.5 hours.
Oh, geez. So you drove.
Yeah.
He lives way up north, huh?
He's up in the Laurentian Mountains, yeah, in Quebec.
God, I bet it gets so cold there in the winter.
Oh yeah, they'll get snowed in hardcore,
Snowed in.
hardcore. Yeah.
Here in Texas, you can get
Sure.
snowed in with the 2 or 3 inches.
Yeah.
But it's not our fault because these people don't. I mean, I'm not joking. I was at the airport one time, and I had a weird feeling, and because the plane kept being, they kept saying, "Oh, we're going to leave," and then they didn't leave, and I left. I said, you know what, Texas, when it snows, they just look at the shit. They're like, they're not out there trying to do anything with it, and then a few inches pile up, and they're like, huh. And you would think that it's getting to where it snows every damn year. You think they'd figure it out and be like, hey, maybe we should do something.
Buy some more snow plows.
Josh,
It's crazy. What's up, Chad?
I'm coming to Austin, Texas to meet you one day, all right? Because
Yeah.
you have no idea about snow down here. You're talking
dude,
3,
no,
4
no.
inches, man. We have like 6, 7, 8 feet.
No, dude, I literally went to Colorado. My dad's best friend, Steve, lived in Colorado, and we would go there in the winter like every year. So I have pictures of me as a 7-year-old with snow up to my chest.
Yeah.
So I know about snow. And also in Northwest Texas, where I used to live, it's that flat area, the right above the panhandle, whatever. It would snow every year over there. Now, we wouldn't get snow like several feet, but it was, foot and a half. It'd snow every year. And I came to Central Texas, and it didn't snow for a while, and then it started to where whatever. I don't know what's going on, but it snows every year now. And like I said, it ices over all the time, and for 4 years in a row, what did it get down to, like 0 degrees here?
Yeah.
I mean,
crazy.
it's crazy. And you're sitting there going like, dude, and these people do not know how to drive in the freaking rain, much less the snow.
No, they
We're
won't
just
have
running
snow
up into
tires.
each other, man.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
Same
Even
thing.
people in Colorado don't know how to, though. Every time it would snow, it was like they must have all been from California or something because nobody knew how to drive.
I'm telling
But
you, man, it gets cold in Colorado in the wintertime.
Yeah, I got you guys all beat. I managed a ski lodge on a mountain. Yeah, at 10,000
Vail,
feet
right?
for
Wasn't
like
it near
5
Vail?
years in Breckenridge. Yeah,
Breckenridge.
yeah.
Dude,
So
I love
I know
Breckenridge.
winter was 8 months long. I know all about snow. Yeah, I did
Dude,
not. I don't miss winter.
I'm going to tell you something, Richard, and the audience here. You can attest to this. That drive from Denver to Breckenridge is dangerous.
Oh yeah.
Well, I'm
especially
an
if it's
experienced
snowing,
driver, and I drove all over the country, everywhere, and that drive scared the shit out of me. It was the summertime. But those people, they are driving way too fast over this mountainous terrain.
Yeah. Yeah.
It is terrifying. Lake
tunnels.
Tahoe is another one where you're just kind of gradually descending, and you're going from Tahoe into Reno, dude. And these people are flying by me, and it's pouring rain.
Yeah.
And these people's vehicles are doing this, and you're like, what the frick? It is so treacherous, dude.
Yeah. And
The mountains ain't no joke.
No, and sometimes if there's bad weather, like I got into one time I got stuck on I-70 for like 4 hours. Another time I got stuck for 8 hours. Like it's crazy. Yeah, that drive up there, and I made it more times than I can count. Yeah,
Oh,
it's
yeah.
kind of wild. So, but it's
It's-
beautiful up there in the summertime. It's like perfect in the summertime up in the
It's
mountains
great.
there. Yeah, like
August is
75
beautiful
degrees
there.
every day. Like, oh, yeah, wonderful.
You live
It's
for
just a
summer when
really
you're up
short
there.
season. Yeah, it's just really short. Yeah.
Yeah, I was at the Stanley Hotel. I've said this before years ago. I was at the Stanley Hotel, and I was reading a bunch of books, weird stuff, And I just, because, you see the movie The Shining, right? And you go out, and there was this guy there. He was at the bar, and he goes, oh, yeah. And it was just me and him. Which kind of made me think of, like, Jack Nicklaus, like, who are you? So
The
they're talking
bartender.
to this bartender, and it was slow, and it was like the happy hour, whatever. I says, well, I'm going to go to Boulder. And he says, yeah, just be careful if you make that trip up into the mountains or whatever. And I was getting ready to go. I said, well, yeah, I'm going to do that tomorrow. And I was there to meet some friends. This was years ago, like 20 something years ago. And I remember that bartender saying, yeah, I was here when I stayed to do a party right before they closed for the season. And then it was an early snowfall. He goes, and I was trapped here for 2 weeks.
Oh wow.
And there was him and like 17 people in the whole hotel.
It really
And
is
everybody
like The
just kind of
Shining.
spread out. And he goes, you wouldn't believe the kind of weird stuff I heard. Because my room, there were people both sides talking, laughing, and it was, whatever. And it was summertime. There was nobody. But this guy, he was trapped. And he goes, dude, I will never stay late for any events. And in the hotel now, they'll close early before it, whatever. But he said that it was horrible, and he finally was able to get out of there. It's Estes Park. It's not, it's not another planet or anything. But the drive from Denver to Boulder is nothing. It's like a straight road, But then it's deceptive because you're like, oh, this ain't so bad. Then you drive up there to Brackenridge and you're like, holy shit, these people want to die. And then I went to Leadville to see where Doc Holliday had shot that dude, and I was like, how do you breathe? There's no oxygen up there. And then Richard, get this, there's oxygen bars everywhere.
Oh yeah.
Really?
Yeah, you have to go into these places and breathe oxygen. You pay them. Yeah. You pay them for oxygen. Yeah.
It took me about 6 months for my body to adjust. They say it takes about 6 months for your capillaries to start adjusting to taking in more oxygen. Yeah. And people, I would actually, when I ran the ski lodge up there, they sell like canisters of like oxygen. It's like a real popular thing, not like oxygen tanks, but like these little handheld things. And I started stocking these for guests and like packets of emergency and stuff because people got altitude sickness all the time because they would come up and party and drink. And I'm like, you might want to take it easy. It'd be people from like Florida. And I'm like, you're coming from sea level. You're probably not going to feel too great. And yeah, people would overdo it. So
there was a Cajun place there. There was a Cajun restaurant that I ate at, dude. And I was like, that guy there told me when he was first, he's a guy that worked there, owned it. I don't know. I think he owned it or whatever, but he said it took him months to get used to it because he's from Louisiana. And he said it was horrible. And I was like, well, I'm not getting used to it. And I was there for 3 days. And up into Vail, it's even worse. I mean, it just gets steadily worse.
Yeah, Vail's gorgeous, but I like Breckenridge because it's not as snobby. Like places like Vail and Aspen and Telluride, they're a little more snooty. It's a little more high end. And I mean, Breckenridge is high end, but it's a little more quaint. It's like I don't know, doesn't have quite as much of that snobbery. But that drive up to Estes Park, oh yeah, there you go. The drive to Estes, I think, is actually even scarier than the drive up toward Breckenridge because it's like really narrow and super sharp winding. Like, yeah, I love that drive, and Estes is actually one of my favorite towns in the whole state. I love it up there, but I think that drive's scarier. And actually, that reminds me, the Stanley Hotel. My old team leader Richard, you've met him.
Yeah.
He was doing some event up there. I wasn't with him or anything, but I remember him telling us, and he had photos and video of it. But while he was there doing some event, a bear walked into the lobby of the hotel, like a black bear, and was just wandering around the hotel.
Yeah, they're there.
Yeah. Yeah.
So what do you got for us tonight? I know you got some.
Yeah, it's a pretty important topic because it affects every single one of us. You, me, Richard, every living person on Earth is affected by this. Even as we sit here, even as I speak, this crap is circulating in our bodies. It's all throughout the environment. It's in all the animals. And there's a few companies that play a large role in it, but one in particular was kind of the genesis of the creation of what are called forever chemicals. I'm sure most people are familiar with what those are. And that is the DuPont family. And they have a lot of pretty wild history, but I thought I would start by actually going into just some of the there's a lot of moving parts with the story of the DuPonts, and there's so much to get to that I can't possibly do all of it. So I figured what I would do is kind of compartmentalize this and just touch on a few things to lead into the story of forever chemicals and how it affects all of us. I'll go into what they are and their discovery and all of that. But before that, I thought I did some research on the history of the DuPonts going back to the French Revolutionary War, and I thought I would touch on that a little bit because I actually thought the history was pretty interesting. And Wolf, I assume you're well versed on everything. I assume you're well versed on probably their history going back then.
I don't want to brag. This is your deal.
Yeah, I knew it. Of course you are. Well, I'll tell you what.
No, I don't know everything about them. I mean, I don't know how they came. Well, I do some, but you do.
Yeah.
Tell.
Okay. Okay. Well, do me a favor and
you just speak.
just because if I get on a roll, just tell me to shut up and jump in if you want to. If you think of something and you want to add to the history of it and all that, please just interrupt me and jump in.
No, go ahead.
So they are a family of French nobility going way, way back. But I figured I would start with kind of the grandfather of the dynasty, so to speak. And his name was Pierre Samuel Dupont. And so his story begins in Revolutionary era France. And so for the purposes of our story, he was a French economist and politician, and he staunchly supported the French monarchy. He was a big fan of the monarchy. And it's interesting because one big claim to fame was that he actually played a role in the signing of the Treaty of Versailles in 1783. And he supported King Louis XVI so much that when the French Revolution broke out, he actually found himself imprisoned. But he was freed through his connections. And that's going to be a recurring theme in this story for this
Yeah.
family, as it is with many such, wealthy and influential and corrupt families. So when he was released, seeing that his life was in danger, he decided, it's probably going to be in my best interest to get my ass out of here. And he hightailed it on a ship over to America. And he brought some of his immediate family with him. And on a little side note, I thought it was kind of interesting because they said that apparently the captain of this ship, he was misguided, he got lost, something along those lines. So the journey took several weeks longer, quite significantly longer than they anticipated. And so even though they were this noble, wealthy family, they couldn't eat gold, and they were reduced to actually eating boiled rats by the end of the journey. And so when they disembarked from the ship, they wandered up to this farmhouse, and there was dinner on the table and nobody home. And they just devoured this food. And to their credit, they didn't just dine and dash. They actually left the family some kind of a gold coin of some sort. And they said it was, even though they stole the family's food, that this amount of money that they left for them was probably more money than this family was ever going to see in their lifetime. So, at least they did that. So he actually, his original aim was to create a self-sufficient colony, and he was planning to keep a low profile, surprisingly, but he wound up finding himself in positions of prominence once again anyway, because he had close connections to Thomas Jefferson. And as I'm sure most people are familiar, Jefferson wanted to purchase the territory of Louisiana from France. And because Pierre was considered such a respected French statesman, Jefferson sought him out as a trusted advisor. So Pierre actually later, he briefly returned to France. I think it was around, if I remember correctly, it was like 1814. And this was because he had a plot to overthrow Napoleon. And he played a key role in helping to restore the French monarchy at that time after Napoleon's initial defeat. However, Napoleon returned with a vengeance after his exile. And so Pierre once again realized, okay, I better get my butt back to America. So he came back. But while Pierre was busy, with his international exploits and all of that, he had a son, and I'm going to butcher the guy's name. It was something along the lines of Eleuthère, something like that. I'm sorry if I'm messing it up for any of our French heritage listeners, but Eleuthère de Pont. And he'd been trained under, so this is all going on at the same time that Pierre was doing all the stuff I just described, but he'd been trained under a famous chemist and became aware through this training of the massive profit potential of gunpowder. And in a new developing nation like the United States, he had the foresight to understand the potential of this. So he opened a gunpowder mill. It wasn't anything massive at the time. He put it along the Brandywine River in Delaware, and that was in, if I'm remembering, it was like around 1800. I think it was 1802. So initially, the business actually faltered. It wasn't doing great. But then, much to his luck, the War of 1812 broke out. To his luck, not to everyone else's, which pitted the United States against Great Britain again. And as the key supplier of gunpowder at the time, DuPont, that was their stepping stone, and their profits just absolutely skyrocketed. But in addition to this, that gentleman, I'm not going to butcher his name again, he also became the director of the Bank of the United States at the time. So this, of course, only further cemented their power and influence. And then, pardon me, after his death, it was, I don't even remember when he died, but the company became basically a family-run partnership, and this was really important to the initial people in the family. They kept it in the family. They kept a very private profile. They didn't disclose all of their scandals or whatnot to the public, and they kept and there's something I wanted to mention. Much to their credit, for all of the corruption and everything I'm going to talk about, there was one thing they said that I actually did admire, and that was that throughout the years up until kind of the Industrial Revolution era, they insisted that all of the male heirs, they didn't just get to live a life of luxury. I'm sure they had plenty of money, but they actually insisted that they all worked in the mills, in the labs, in the factories. They had to know all of the employees by their first name, and they lived in housing that was all identical right next to the mills. And of course, these mills, since they're producing gunpowder, would have all kinds of explosions and accidents all the time. And they were taught, you run toward the danger, you do not run away from it, you go and you save lives. And some of them lost their lives. Some of the DuPonts lost their lives, or they would lose an eye or things like that, saving the lives of their employees. And they were taught to, test the quality of the gunpowder by taste and to learn the chemistry of everything. And so it was like really hands-on. It wasn't just like a bunch of spoiled brats. And that was something I thought was worth mentioning. Of course, later on, I'm sure things changed in that regard, but I thought that was kind of an interesting little side note.
It makes you tough. And I want to say something. I'm not going to hijack the conversation here, but
no, go
if
ahead.
anybody is interested in learning about the DuPonts, look up the Krupps and the parallels between the DuPonts and the Krupps. And then you will start to see like these were dynastic families. Interesting that DuPont, the elder, when he came to the United States, he came, and this is a well-known fact, he came in 1799. And I got to say this, and I know some people are going to think that this means nothing. They maybe don't think that it. But what does anybody know why that's important that he came in that year? Does anybody have any idea? The significance of coming. Well, a lot of these people that in this esotericism that they believe in, and that's why I think that both of those families were seeded by evil. And I do. I mean, because going way back, because if he waited until 1800, which by our calendar, it doesn't matter whose calendar it is, if there's enough people that observe it, it becomes a sort of cosmic law, right? So they believe that going into a new decade, much less a new century, that's a bad omen. If you go in as it's already begun, then you go, right? Then you're kind of subjected to the whims of the new and the whims and the nuances of this new order of what's happening. So to preserve the old way, they had to get there before 1800, right? So it wasn't just like, oh, we got Napoleon and whatever, but let's get there before, because that starts you off, right? Before the new century begins. You can stake your roots and claim everything and be there right at the jump. These people know these things, and I hate that people don't understand it. They don't know the significance of that. Here is another thing about that. What is the numbers if you add up the number 1799? Does anybody know?
8.
8. Why is that significant? Do you know?
It's a number of prosperity in numerology.
Yeah.
The number of
It's like power and prosperity.
Yeah. So you want to get there during the 8th year because 1800 would be the 9 year, and that's the end, right? So you don't want to get there as it's already, the beginning of the end has already started. So you go during the year of the number of prosperity. They know this. They know
Yeah.
this. The problem is that our people are like, I don't believe in reincarnation. It's not in the Bible. The Bible's just big, dude. I mean, there's a lot of stuff that's been taken out of the Bible. Well, I don't believe in numbers and all that, dude. The whole world is numbers. The
Yeah.
Bible is full of numbers constantly telling you the number 7, this, that. I mean, it's everywhere.
Mhm.
So these people that study this, and we were just talking about this on this other show that we were on, Blondes and Booze, they understand the numerical significance and what that means. They get it. They understand it. So these very powerful players, you're fighting against an uphill battle like you're swimming upriver. You're not armed with the knowledge. Like, I know everything they do in different days. There's certain significance to those days. Like, you got to understand that. I mean, people don't get that. They don't understand it. They don't realize what they're doing. These people are doing it for a reason.
Always.
A lot of times too, like a number 5 is a number of chaos, right? A 5 is just like anything goes, anything can happen. People who are born of a number 5 are adventurous, and they desire experiences, right? So when you look at that number of chaos, there's a reason why they choose those certain numbers, and people don't know. I mean, they just do not understand it. They don't get it. And when you stop and you look at it and you go, well, what do you mean? Well, why did 9/11 happen the way it did? Look at what those numbers add up to. Look at what it adds up to. I mean, you stop and you start going, yeah, okay, so it's a 5-day, right?
Yeah.
Right. And then when you stop and you start looking at all these weird nuances and what they do things on certain days.
Like March 21st, 2020.
Mm-hmm. And a lot of times too, they'll disregard not always, but it depends on who's pulling the strings. They disregard certain calendar marks. Like, they won't even regard the months, because the months are supposed to be 13, right? Not 12. That's another thing too. You start to dig into it, and you don't see the significance. Look at which calendar they're using, and then you'll see it. You'll totally see what it was. There's certain days that they use.
100%.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I happen to know the 8 because I was told that's my life path number, and I went in and delineated everything, and I was like, oh yeah, turns out that is my life path number.
Look at September 11th, 2001. Do the numbers all the way across the board. It's a 5. Yeah. It's a number. It's a coordinated, chaotic number. I mean, it's like,
Yeah.
That is a significant thing too. The pentagram is a 5-pointed star,
Yeah.
They
I've
hit
never
the
liked the number
Pentagon.
5.
I mean, Anthony's a 5. She
I
don't like
know
you.
why, I've just never liked. Yeah,
Take
sorry.
a look at this
sorry,
guy. He's a
Anthony.
very unsavory looking guy.
Yeah.
I like Anthony though. I don't know why. It's just not.
She just
particularly my
happens to
favorite number.
dislike the only minority on the panel. That's cool. That's okay.
You're
Yes,
actually a
the
majority.
whitest,
Because I'm
most
brown.
pale person.
Yeah. Blonde-haired, blue-eyed, like stereotypical.
It's just
Racist.
my Aryan coming out.
Yeah.
She literally had her knee on GF's neck. You were there
Oh,
in
yeah.
spirit. You know you did.
Yeah.
You and chauvinistic.
You know,
When will it end?
terrible.
Will it end?
All because I don't like 5.
Well, 5 is not so. It is a weird thing too. Like, numbers are so interesting when you look at, like, okay, so like you take the number 35, which ends in an odd number, right? But then if you add it together, it's an even number. Then you take 36, which ends in an even number. When you add it together, it equals 9, which is an odd number.
Hmm.
I mean, everything is really parity, but right now in our world, we are not seeing that. We are seeing complete evil just taking over. I mean, it's like, and there is the pendulum, you're waiting for it to swing. You don't do that. Sometimes you just have to push the pendulum yourself. And it's swung so far to the left that you have to push as hard as you can back to the right just to get it to the middle.
Yeah.
Which is how it goes. I mean, and people don't understand the significance of these things, but now enough babbling. I'm going to get back to you. I just wanted to point that out because if you guys want to do a little more digging, the deeper dig, it's very interesting. Look up the parallels between the Krupps and the DuPonts and how they exchanged information and how one of them backed the Allies and the other one backed the Axis, right?
Yeah.
So they
No,
were
I'm
playing a
glad
game
you
back and
did.
forth, and they all were merchants of war. They benefited greatly from the human suffering. Anyways, good.
No, I'm glad you mentioned all of that. It's important information, and it's so true. They plan everything out. There's always multiple layers and angles to what they're doing. They very rarely do something with only one objective in mind. They always kill two birds with one stone, sometimes 10
12
birds.
birds.
Yeah.
12 birds with one stone.
Said this many times.
And there's always layered meanings to what they're doing and their symbolism and their esoteric occult crap.
It's like a lasagna.
Too. Oh yeah.
Mhm,
It's an
fill the
occult
top of
lasagna.
it.
Yep,
Mhm.
an occult lasagna with some satanic sprinkles on top. Yep, you got it.
Richard likes
Um,
sprinkles. He's telling me he eats donuts from.
I love sprinkles.
He wants sprinkles on them. The
Oh,
people.
Sprinkles are,
They're
I love
probably
a
full of.
cherry. I
Go
was going
ahead.
to say, I love a cherry on my cake too.
Love sprinkles and
Little
cherries.
sprinkles and cherries there, huh? Anyway,
Well,
go ahead.
The sprinkles are probably full of forever chemicals, so
They
congratulations.
are from the DuPonts. They're literally lead chips.
I like the rainbow sprinkle.
Yeah.
What's- what's-
Rainbow colored ones taste the best.
the
Yeah.
pastel rainbows.
I love the
Yeah.
microplastics in them and everything.
They make me feel
They
feminine.
tested them on the frogs and it made them a bit saucy. Anyway, I'll
Sorry,
stop
Anna.
distracting.
We'll quit distracting from the. Talk about those people. Lisa. Go ahead.
Oh, trust me, we're gonna get to the part where it reduces testosterone and sperm
Delicious.
counts and all
Let's go.
kinds of stuff. Yeah. So yeah. Oh boy, we're gonna get into it. So I'm not gonna bore everybody with a ton of this history stuff, but I did just kind of. I think it's important to sort of go into what led up to some of these discoveries. So I'm just gonna skim over some stuff. So bear with me for just a moment because I think it's important information. So they made some innovations that led up to the forever chemical thing. For instance, they in the mid 1800s they patented a soda powder that made gunpowder production cheaper and more reliable. And then around 1880 they established a new factory to produce dynamite. And on a side note, I thought it was interesting because the guy that, and Wolf, I'm sure you know this, but the guy who developed dynamite was the same guy that the Nobel Peace Prize is named after, Alfred Nobel, which I thought was pretty ironic. That's actually not something I happen to know. So,
Well,
you know.
dynamite's not just for war.
well, no, but I'm just saying there is an irony there that it's used to blow crap up, and it's just
I
a
don't
side
get it.
note.
I don't see it.
Yeah, I know. I'll
he
explain it to you later.
Didn't he create the Nobel Prize because he found out in the papers how much everybody hated him?
I don't even know.
I'm pretty sure there was a big slander campaign against his name, and he found out how many people just hated his guts. And then well, I'll invent this Peace Prize and reinvent myself and da da da. And I guess that's what he did. So
Once again, I can't even tell if you're being sarcastic or
no,
not.
it's real. Yeah, no,
Oh,
for
really?
real. Yeah.
Oh,
That's true.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so let's see. I'm trying to think of where else to go with this. So, like I said, there's plenty of other factors and stories and scandals and stuff in between, but I'm not even going to go there. So over time, there were other innovations, but then they shifted gears and they moved into more dyes and chemicals, and of course, eventually, as a lot of people probably know, they invented the first synthetic fiber. I can't remember, was that nylon or polyester? It was one or the other.
Nylon.
Nylon, okay.
Yeah.
And then they were producing like paints and solvents and celluloid film and artificial leather.
You just said
Artificial
it.
leather.
Solvents.
Yeah,
We
yeah.
talked about the Solvays. They have a long history with the Solvays too. Like when you
Yeah.
were talking about the sodium.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Anyways,
yeah,
yeah.
exactly. And they even, which I didn't know this, but they even produced automobiles for a while. And
Yeah.
on another side, I know I'm going into a lot of side notes,
Well, they
but
created Teflon and Kevlar, and
and that's what I'm about to get into. Yeah, that's the
Go ahead,
big
go ahead.
that's the big genesis of the shitstorm that we're all in. Pardon my French. that the whole planet's in now, thanks to them. I guess the only silver lining is that since they've poisoned all of us and it's so ubiquitous in absolutely everything, even though these people don't eat the same crap food that they feed to us and they're part of this elite circle, they've still also poisoned themselves because nobody can get away from it. So there's that. But
I mean, they've
yeah,
been the
and
crap suit out of them over and over again.
yeah,
Like the
there was
DuPonts and the Solvays, and they've all been the
oh
focal
yeah, but
point of multiple lawsuits. And it
some
doesn't
of the
matter once you have
settlements,
80
yeah.
billion,
Yeah,
$800 billion. What does it matter?
Yeah, exactly. And some of the settlements were laughably small. Like one of
Yeah.
them was like 16 million.
Yeah. 16
million. You think that's going to hurt people like
They'll
that?
drag
You
it
know?
out for decades too.
That's like fining one of us $40, you know, or less. You know, like here's a $4 fine. However, I will say they and some other companies, I'm not sure if 3M was involved, but there were some other companies. They did recently, I don't know exactly when it happened, but they did recently have to pay out, I think it was to New Jersey, 20 billion. So that was a little more of a dent. And that was actually, as far as I'm aware, the largest lawsuit of its kind in American history for environmental and health impact. So for whatever it's worth, but still, when you've got that much money, it's like it's a drop in the bucket.
Yeah, but do they pay or do the insurance companies pay?
Yeah, that too. You know,
They're all the
like,
same.
Yeah.
I mean, you know,
yeah,
they're cousins, the insurance companies.
Yeah.
You know, it's like calling Uncle Saul. Hey, you know, can you?
yeah. And you know, Richard, you too, as I because I've compiled all this information, but as I go through this, like if there's something you want to chime in on,
Sounds
just
good.
butt in.
I
Yeah,
will.
just butt in. So yeah, so they're producing all this new stuff. Some other things I know were like neoprene rubber, like we said, nylon, and then Teflon, all kinds of stuff. And something, you know, it's not that interesting, but I just kind of took note of it, was that there was sort of a rift in the dynasty where around the turn of the century, and I'll just make brief mention of this. There was actually a big hullabaloo about it at the time in the press, but there was the old school DuPonts who still wanted it like an organic, not organic. That's not a word to use when referencing the
I was to say
DuPonts.
they're not nothing organic about them.
Yeah, exactly. But as far as how the business was run, the guy at the time that was in the lead, I think his name was Alfred, I believe. He still wanted it run as a family-run business, but there was this new generation that had been educated in the Ivy League, and it was kind of like these young liberal kids of today that like come in and take over, you know, businesses, and they've never worked in the business a day in their life, and they're like, we need to do a new corporate structure. And so one of these younger DuPonts came in and straight out of college and said, hey, and he literally sent a memo, I think it was in like 1914, and he said, hey, I want to completely restructure the company. And this totally pissed off Alfred, and he just felt like it was a dagger to his heart. And he didn't want it run by family members anymore. He wanted a central corporate architecture to the company. And to me, I think that was sort of the genesis of when DuPont went from even having just an ounce of wholesomeness. Not that they did, you know, I'm not defending them, but I'm just saying I think that's when it shifted to being this corporate like monstrosity of just complete greed and absolutely no concern for employees or people in general. I really think it was around that time when things drastically shifted in the company. So now I'm going to get into the more interesting stuff with you guys now that we've covered some of the basic history. Go ahead.
So I just want to point out that Alfred DuPont, his first name is Alfred. It was Alfred Krupp, the German industrialist. Yeah. That was
Oh, interesting.
He took over.
Cohort.
Get this. He took over what was really a company that was full of debt and on its last leg. When he was 14 years old, he inherited it. And he's the one that was responsible for taking the Krupps to prominence. And guess what year he inherited it? Anybody?
1913.
No, 1812.
Okay.
There's that year again. right? 1812, the War of 1812, which is one of the things that led the DuPonts to become, and then here's Alfred Krupp. I don't know. You see these things and you're like, dude, and they're both named Alfred.
Parallels.
You know,
Yeah.
it is so, it's like the Matrix in overdrive. I mean, you sit there and you look at this stuff and you're thinking, there's no way that all of this is a coincidence. But then there's people that really believe that everything is just a coincidence. Like, that the universe took a crap and somehow it just became itself. And
Yeah, that one really gets.
Anyways,
Yeah,
I just thought it was interesting if you were to go back and look at the history of the Krupps. I read a book about it was like this big. It was like a humongous book, and I was like just falling asleep reading it because some of it can be dry, but it goes into great detail. I think it's called like the Krupps, Merchants of War, something like that. But it mentions like
I know that book.
Yeah, it's like the DuPonts, and it might be out of print because it was such an old book when I got it. It was from the library, and yes, I kept it, but in my defense, it was too big. I mean, like it didn't take longer than 2 weeks to read it. It was boring. But anyway, go ahead.
Doorstop.
Yeah,
And I remember one day I was moving and I was like, oh, there's that book. It was sitting in my closet. It was like this huge book. I mean, it's gigantic. And one of the most boring books, though, that I ever read, and I'll tell you right now, it's interesting, very informative, but the Greek War of Independence, oh my God, that thing was boring. Man, good grief, dude. I thought it would be cool. It wasn't. But anyways, that's off topic. But yeah, the DuPonts, go ahead.
And on a quick note with what you were saying, no offense intended to any of our listeners that believe along these lines, but to me, it's so bizarre the people that think that the universe just crapped itself into existence and it's all just a cosmic coincidence. It's like, and that there's no, no, it doesn't, and that there's no like, and that there's really,
yeah,
do you really believe that? That there's no.
God spoke the world into existence.
Oh, you're going to change it now? Trying to show off for your cousin and Anna? That's not what you told me. You said you were all about Darwinism. You said these people don't know what
even
a dinosaur farted in it.
Even Darwin said, if we don't find the hundreds of thousands of in-between species, my theory is bunk and void. They never read the second half of his damn book.
I did.
Yeah. They never ever teach it in school.
What island was he on?
First half.
What island was he on?
Dr. Moreau.
They changed it?
The Galapagos Islands, wasn't he?
Yeah. Anyways, go ahead, Anna. Anyway, we'll let this atheist who pretends to be.
Yeah.
Look at Richard. I'm messing with you, Richard. Go ahead.
I know.
He's not atheist.
Well, now we're gonna have to have a chat off the show. I gotta untangle this. No, but I think it's so strange to me because they always think they're so hyper logical, and I'm like, work this through logically in your mind. What is logical
They're logical in their own way.
But what is logical about a lack of intelligent, sentient design to all of this? I mean, even all these scientists and intellectuals, when they've worked it through,
it's just so stupid.
There's a lot of atheist scientists and intellectuals that have worked it through, and it actually brought them to God because they said, I came to the conclusion there's just absolutely no logical way to explain it.
It's like we were talking about the left and the right. You always see this is the same thing, Richard, you and Anna would know this. People who believe in ghosts, they don't ever stop believing it and go the other way. People who believe in Bigfoot, they don't stop and go, oh, now I don't believe in it. People who believe in God rarely go back the other way. You see a few little weirdos that get hit in the head with like a spark plug or something. Very few, though. You don't see that. And it's like you don't see people going from the right to the left.
I was just going to say that.
It's the other way every time.
Never.
I mean, you don't see it.
Yep. Yeah, exactly. Once you see certain things, you can't unsee them, and the cat's out of the bag and you don't go back. That's why they have to work so hard to control the minds of the masses, because if people wake up, you can't shove them back in that bag. You can't put them back to sleep.
Yeah, the box is open.
Yeah, that's why they put billions of dollars every year into these social engineering campaigns and to propagandize the masses. So, but anyway,
which is why we're here.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yes, exactly.
Seems to be working well.
Saying. It has on a lot of stupid people.
Yeah.
And the sad thing is, this is the last thing I'm going to say about this, is just these stupid people, it's more the pity because they think they're smart. And some of them are intellectual, but intellectual in their way. And they're, if you put them in a little playpen and they can, and the hardest thing you got to do is put building blocks and spell the ABC, yeah, then you're smart.
Yeah.
You win.
Yeah. The more I know, the more I don't know anything. The more you learn and the more your mind expands, the more hopefully humble you become. And I find that it's the people that are absolutely convinced that they know everything about everything that tend to have the
Like
most
Richard.
arrogance and that are the most blind.
He's arrogant.
Yeah, the most lost in ego.
I just remember when everybody became immunologists and virologists in the last few years, and that yeah.
That's funny. But then you look
So,
at Richard,
anyway.
you see how smart he is. And you look, and then you take his hat and he's got the sticker on. And then you take a look at this
I
guy.
took it
Look, he
off.
is the smartest guy here, is Anthony, so intelligent. And then you look at this dingy white shirt he's wearing, and you're like, dude, what is going on with
This
these?
isn't dingy.
Anthony's my boy, man. Leave that guy alone. Look at how awesome this guy
Beautiful
is.
shirt, but look at
You
this.
know,
Anthony,
last
what's
time
on
I
your
wore the
shirt?
same shirt with Jesus on it, you were giving me crap about it.
It's not about Jesus. You want to make it about
Oh,
Jesus. It's
okay,
about the
okay.
ugliness of your
Just
the
happens-
white shirt. Does not
It's just a
put that on a
it's just a
decent
coincidence, right?
shirt, like a beautiful, like the color
Now
of
he
Dick's hat.
believes in
No,
coincidence.
I like the color of
Now
Dick's
he
hat.
believes in
So
coincidence.
make it Dick's color's hat on
Just
there.
so happens to be my
Chad
Jesus
has
shirt.
he's got good taste in hats. He's got. I
Now we're
like that.
talking about it.
I like that hat. See, you take
Yeah,
the sticker off.
I do like that hat.
Yeah, I did. Yeah,
Ah, see now he's got.
he
Now he
shamed
did
me
it.
into it.
Much better.
He didn't take it off. They switched out hats, right?
No, I took it off. I took it off.
Oh,
took
you did. Oh, okay. I missed that
Sticker's
part.
right here.
Oh, okay.
You know I don't care, right? You're just messing with y'all.
You're
I don't care about any of it.
You're not the first person to give me the gears over this, but you will be the last.
I don't care. I really don't care, Richard. I just have to find something to pick on y'all about. But you're not as mean as this guy. This guy, he's mean, dude. He's got a mean streak in him. He's the Comanche in him. He's
Yeah,
that wild
it.
Indian in him. Let's get that.
It's just
I got it too, though. I got probably more than he does, so I shouldn't be saying that. But the point back to what you were saying, these guys are distracting from the show. I'm sorry, Anna, these crumbs.
I know.
Go ahead.
Gosh, you
Just
guys
say
are
what you got to
so
say without
rude.
Anthony and
Jeez.
Richard interrupting with their insults.
How dare you?
Right?
How
dare
and
you?
right when I was going to get to the interesting part. Jeez.
Yeah, you're getting to it. Go ahead.
I know. Okay, so
Be quiet, Richard and
Um,
Anthony.
oh yeah, I'm gonna let people down. Like I say, I'm getting to the interesting part, and they're like, "Oh, yawn." So I'm gonna explain to everybody what these forever chemicals are. Like they're it's all very briefly go into like their chemical makeup. It's really simple, what it does to the body, all of that. But first, I want to explain how they were discovered. It's kind of an interesting little story. So, and probably a lot of people already know it, but for those that don't, it was made completely by accident in 1938 by a young 20-something-year-old scientist named Roy Plunkett. He might have even only been like 20 years old. He was really young. And he had been tasked by the company DuPont with finding a new way for a new form of refrigerant or refrigerator coolant, because refrigerators at the time were super dangerous. They were releasing toxic gases that were killing people, injuring or killing people. And so he had this task, and I'm not sure all the details of exactly what he was doing, but he had produced 100 pounds of TFE gas. Don't ask me how to pronounce that or what the full technical name is. People can look it up if they want, but it was called TFE gas for testing. But when he went to vent the tank, nothing came out, which was not what he and his assistant expected. So he thought, "Oh, that's super weird." But he weighed the tank and it weighed the same, meaning there must still be the same amount of substance inside. So he actually went and somehow took it apart. And when he went inside the tank, there was this weird powdery white substance in there. And he thought, "Oh, well, my experiment's ruined. I'm just going to throw whatever this crap is away." But he thought to himself, well, there must be some kind of chemical bond that occurred when I ran this experiment. Something went haywire. So before I throw this crap away, I'm going to run some tests on it. Well, it turns out he put water on it. Water just beat it off. He put grease on it. It was impervious to grease. He tried to light it on fire, wouldn't light on fire. It turned out this crap was completely indestructible. And now I'll get into what this stuff is basically. It's called PFAS, and that stands for per and polyfluoral how do you say it? I'm gonna blank now. It's per and polyfluoral alkyl, I believe, substances. I'm sorry if I messed that up. And
Yeah,
it's made,
PFA.
yeah. So people call it PFAS for short.
Yeah, we know what it is. PFA.
Okay, yes, yeah. So it's made, very simply speaking, it's made by the bonding of carbon and fluorine atoms. But this is the strongest chemical bond known to man. It's man-made and it's indestructible. It's fire retardant, water resistant, grease resistant, corrosion resistant. Like, you cannot get rid of this stuff. And that's both the beauty of it and why it's so useful in so many industries and has made our lives easier in so many ways. But that's also
All in
the
our
devil
body.
in the details. Yeah, that's also the devil in the details and why it's screwing all of us over and causing untold damage to ourselves, all the animals, all the environment, which I'll go into. Now, for people who are curious as far as what products this stuff is in, it's in fire retardants, it's in bulletproof vests, so Kevlar, it's in any water repellent items that you own. Scotch Guard spray is a big culprit. Rain jackets, stain-proof carpets and upholstery, sweat-proof watch bands, any kind of water repellent stuff. Cleaning products, nonstick cookware, food packaging is a big one. There's body care items, cosmetics. It's in toilet paper, guys. We all wipe our ass. It's even in the toilet paper.
You do?
It's in.
Wait,
You
we're
don't?
supposed to be doing that?
Is that a
I'd
thing?
recommend trying it.
Uh-oh.
No, we use the
Invest in a bidet.
Yeah.
Yeah, no joke.
Another thing that
Um,
the French gave us, they're like, use
Yeah.
water.
Yeah.
I would just use a
Apparently-
shower head for that.
You could do it. You could do it Middle Eastern style. Just use your, what is
Okay,
it?
I'm
their
gonna
left
tell you
hand?
something really quick. This is crazy, but I used to have this roommate because we all worked security together years ago in government housing, and he was so cheap. Now he was from Chicago. He's like Maddie. Maddie's from Chicago. See, she's in the chat. So I
I
guess
thought you were going to say she was cheap.
they're cheap. But it goes to Chicago. He's from Chicago, right? And this guy refused to buy toilet paper, so he would just do that and then take a shower. And I was like, "Where's the toilet paper coming from?" Because he's not using mine because he wouldn't buy any. When he told me that, yeah, we got into a fight.
Was he
We got
pooping
into a
in the
literal
shower?
fist fight. Well, yeah, I literally beat him into buying toilet paper. It's like, no, dude. Nope. That really aggravated the crap out of me. He was always talking like he was tough because he was from Chicago. And I'm like, dude, I got relatives up there. What? So what? But yeah, that's just a story. I just remember that because this dude, like Anthony made a joke about using the shower head.
Yeah,
When you're young and you have roommates and stuff, yeah, dude.
these
Bro.
weird stuff.
I had some crazy roommates over the years, man.
Yeah, I don't miss having roommates.
No.
Oh, the good old days.
But anyways, get back onto the P phase.
Yeah, they're
Yeah,
in
so-
firefighters' bunker suits too.
Yeah, firefighters test very high for this
Anything that they can put it in, they put it in. And then some of the things they seem innocuous, and then other things you're like, what are they, Bond villains? Like, what is the point?
Yeah.
Because they're putting it in stuff that doesn't make sense.
It's even in dental floss, wax.
Yeah, I
dental
was just
floss.
going to say,
It's in
that the
wax.
oral industry uses it for everything. Bristles on your toothbrush. They do it for the dental floss. I mean, what do you
Yeah.
need that? Why?
Are you kidding me?
Guys,
No.
guys, even the screen you're watching this on right now,
Mhm.
if it's got one of those, what's it called, hyperphilic or well, whatever, the non-smudge
Hydrophobic?
coating.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
hydrophobic. Thank you. Coatings. Then it has PFAS in it. So even literally the screen you're watching right now has it in it. It is everywhere. It is in everything, and it is inside of you right now.
No, it's not.
Well, how come I can't see it?
I just drank out of a plastic bottle.
Yeah, I'm drinking out of a freaking tin can. So
Well, I mean, and who knows the coating on it. This company
Yeah,
here, though,
exactly.
they advertise that they don't have forever chemicals in their plastic, but you're paying more money for that. This is not
Even if you get like coffee in a paper cup, if it's got that waterproof coating,
it's going to have that coating on there. Everybody
Yeah,
thinks that
anything
they're
that's
doing
waterproof.
something special. They're not.
yeah, And I'll get into why it's in all of our crops too. That's a real big one, and that's a crazy part. That's a part that I mean, I already knew our crops were full of all kinds of crazy stuff, but there's a whole scandal going on that's still occurring as I speak in 48 states. They still haven't banned this practice, which I'll get into shortly, and it's just absolutely horrifying. But first, just so people are aware, some of the effects this can have on the body, it causes cancers, high cholesterol, weakened immune system, liver damage, thyroid, sorry for the bad news, guys, thyroid disease, lower sperm counts. And guys, you're going to not like this one, but it literally
Underwear.
causes shorter penises. It even causes that.
Richard, that you knows that. Richard knows.
I was gonna say, looks like I'm clear. Looks like I'm in the clear.
You don't have a high.
Richard and Anthony,
upload, huh?
y'all probably both have that problem, right? You probably know about that.
Yeah, sure. Why not? Just go with it, Richard, so we can stop talking about wee-wees.
Yeah, well, that's bad news for guys.
Well,
and
Anna's the one
ladies.
talking about it, not
So,
me. She's
I'm
the one
just-
obsessed with it.
I thought that was important information for
You got to
people
bring that
know.
up on the
So-
show, okay?
No, but for the guys out there that have that problem, now you have a reason you can give. Like, it's not my
Is
fault.
that-
It's the forever chemicals.
I was born in 75, so when did this thing start?
Well, this started a long time ago, and I'm going to get into that. But they started to become aware of it, and its devastating effects around actually the 1940s. And they were already aware that it was ubiquitous in the blood of everybody in
Maybe that's what happened to
humanity
the boomers,
by
why
like
they're so mad.
1970s. They knew about it by the 1970s and were covering it up. So, but I'll get into that. So DuPont has kind of a code word for this that they've labeled forever chemicals or PFAS in their internal documents. They call it C8. Sort of sounds like dynamite, but would be a good term for it. But it can get into the bloodstream and it hitches a ride on the proteins that transport fatty acids. And for that reason, it can get anywhere in the body. And it also has a cumulative effect, much like getting, boosters and stuff like that, where your total levels will only become and remain higher forever the greater and longer your exposure is. And so that is not good. And once it's in there, it doesn't ever leave. Some people say it's in there for decades. Some people say that this stuff doesn't break down for millions of years. So once it's there for good. And the higher the amount that you have, obviously, the greater at risk you are for health problems. You can actually be tested. You can go to doctors and ask for the testing. A lot of times, I guess the doctors are kind of reluctant because it's like, well, what are we going to do with the test results? But you can get tested if you want the horror show of finding out. They have never ever found. Go ahead.
I got to say something about the chat here. Andres, that is a hilarious comment, but let's make that be the last one because I don't need them demonetizing this video. Okay. But yeah, that is a good point. I guess we could say that. Be like, look, some old guys had to mess with chemicals. It's not my fault.
I didn't even see it. I've been
Think of it as
I've been looking at the chat.
as dingling light.
Yeah, Sean's
Yeah.
gonna use that one as soon as he gets home with his missus.
I figured
She's not in the chat causing problems and chaos.
No, the chat will be completely derailed if
You'd
you
be
was.
completely.
See, I only brought up that side effect to keep the guys away.
Yeah,
from
do you
the-
see how
the
you
show,
look what you
it
did,
would get their
Anna? Look what you
attention. Be
did.
like, what? It causes what?
Yeah, see what you did.
You're
Now you
welcome.
got everybody all upset, especially Anthony and Dick.
That explains everything.
I wear cotton underwear. I'm good.
They got the pee
I make-
fast. They have to pee fast.
I make sure not to wear any synthetic underwear at all.
I get mine. They're made of
100%
bamboo.
cotton.
You wear
Seashells.
underwear?
Bamboo.
Did your mom use Teflon cookware?
Did you
No.
use
You might be
Teflon
screwed.
cover?
No, but she used non-stick stuff, so there's
Yeah.
that too. But I don't use any. I
That would
only
be
cook.
Teflon.
I only cook on stainless steel
He's
and
right.
cast
That's right,
iron,
yeah.
like nothing else.
Dude, okay. I
So
gotta,
it
yes.
just gave you really tiny hands, is all.
Yeah,
Tiny
yeah.
hand
Mini
syndrome.
hands.
Uh-huh.
I gotta say something. Anthony does, dude. I and this is an attack on it or anything. This isn't making fun. I'm being serious. He babies that cast iron skillet.
Yeah.
Dude,
Oh, yeah.
Some
he's
people do.
downstairs like putting it in the oven and there's nothing.
Good.
I don't know anything about this. So I asked him a couple of days ago. I said, "What are you doing, dude?" Because he's not
Seasoning it.
cooking. He's seasoning it. Yes.
Yeah.
I baked
Yeah.
it like 8 times.
Yeah, you and Richard have so much in common. Y'all are like very similar people. That's why I like
Yeah.
Richard. He's very much like Anthony, but then I don't like Richard because he's so much like Anthony.
It's a dual-edged sword.
There's certain
So
Richard
you're
is an
saying you don't
acquired
like either
taste.
of them?
I love them, but I don't always like them. They have some weird things that go on with them. But you have to have.
well,
Let me say
Guilty
this
as
about
charged.
Anthony and Richard. Y'all are both very. You're men. You know, as they say, like you're a mensch. You're an uber mensch. You are. You can tell you guys have testosterone. You're tough guys. Like I've seen Anthony when he trains like a madman. Like he's tough.
Oh,
He
buddy.
pushes himself beyond the limit. Sometimes I worry, like, hey man, you're pushing it a little hard. You know, because I get it. Everybody wants to be like me. You know, they want that.
Hmm.
You know, you want to be able to bench 660 pounds, but you know, you can't.
I was
No.
just cranking out a bunch of chin-ups there on that pole before the show.
nice.
And then Chad came in there and was like, dude, you're gonna destroy my cabin. What are you doing? Why are you grabbing on the support beam? Stop it.
gonna make it fall down.
Did he smack
No,
you?
you guys, like
Stop
all three of you are very,
That is
very.
envious.
All three of you guys are very masculine men. Like seriously, that's something I admire about all three
Don't
of
try
you.
to repair what you've done.
I'm
You
being
attacked
serious.
our people's manhoods. You tried to make us question ourselves.
So is that what happened in Asia?
Oh God! Don't say stuff like
Oh, here
that.
we go.
Don't say stuff like that.
See, you
That's
can't
not-
open certain cans of worms
No, I
around
mean, like-
Mr. Richards here.
This is YouTube, guys. This is YouTube.
This is not Rumble, and it's insulting. Tony's not here to defend himself.
No,
Okay.
I just mean it's the South Park meme.
Message Tony and tell him what he said so he can get on there. And, yeah, Tony's not a normal Asian though. He's not smart. You know, so he's got all the opposite. He's not good in math. He doesn't. You know, his own mom those made jokes. She's like, "You American. You know me. You're so American." He's like, "Okay," you know, like he's not. You would think he would be. I had to help. Let's put it this way: I had to help him with his math. Of course, that doesn't count because I'm smart. But and I'm not trying. Now I'm saying things like I'm bragging. I'm being serious. I'm not trying to be mean or anything. But I've had to tutor people, and you're going like this guy. And I jokingly, I told him, I said, "You're Taiwanese and Vietnamese. You don't know how to do math." You know, it's like, come on, dude. But he's not here to defend himself, Richard. That's not a nice thing to say about him.
He might not know math, but I'll bet he's a hell of a jungle fighter.
A jungle fight. What kind of shit is that? What does that mean?
Well, the Vietnamese and the Taiwanese were very good at in
Oh,
jungle
guerrilla
warfare.
warfare.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sneaky.
I haven't.
He is sneaky.
We haven't taken him into the jungle and been like, "Show us your skills and go." He's just like throwing his hands up, looking at us.
Maybe
Find
it's
the
not
landmines
funny.
and go. We'll be sure and take him to the jungle the next time we're in East Texas, which is one of two places in the country that's technically
There you
considered
go.
jungle. We will take him and we'll loose him out there. Come back in 2 weeks and see if he's survived.
Yeah, Rambo wouldn't have crap on him.
Bring back a Bigfoot head, Tony, or you're dead
Right.
to us.
Exactly.
So, anyways, no, I just the thing is,
Anyway,
anyways, the thing is, you can't even joke with Richard because he'll take it too far and he'll go where he goes with his rotten mind.
Oh yeah, I'm just crazy. I'm sorry. Don't listen to me.
We know you're crazy.
Yeah.
We know. Look, see, now you got Nathan up there. What? Come on, Nathan. What is that? It's not appropriate. Jeez. Anyways, go ahead. Go ahead, Anna.
okay, so
Immature people.
all right. Well, you guys got me so sidetracked.
It's
Let me think
immature
where to go
people.
from here. I know. Jeez,
We're talking about the
immature boys over here.
No, we weren't. We're talking about PFAs.
You don't want to talk about it. Stop, Richard. Richard's mad because he's like he has to. You're upset. I get it, Richard. You hate that. You probably the PFAs ruined your life.
He's got a phallic
His
fixation.
dating life is just. But now you can call all of those women and tell them, "Hey, we figured it out. It's because of the PFAS."
yeah. This is why I swear. I swear.
The woman's like, "You pee fast? What the hell is that?"
You pee
I
really
used
fast.
to eat Teflon.
Wow. Anyways, you opened the can. You opened the
I did.
box. They
I
came.
know. I knew if I threw that, I was like, man, should I mention this side
No,
effect?
you probably
But-
shouldn't have, but it's
No, I
you've
probably
done it
shouldn't
now.
have, but I did. I did.
Yeah.
You know me. Just got to throw
Oh,
in those
well.
little tidbits. Yeah. Okay.
I got to tell you
anyway.
something too about somebody that's on your friends list when the
Me?
show is
Oh,
over.
no.
Yeah, you
Oh,
need to be
no.
careful. Yeah, you have somebody that
I haven't
they
even
popped
been
up on my
Facebook this
timeline, and
week.
I'll tell you about it. It's you need to be careful.
Oh, good Lord. Okay, now I'm scared. All right. Well, now I'm going to be distracted. Do I have a stalker?
No, I mean you probably do, but this is a woman.
Oh, really?
Hmm.
Oh, okay.
Speaking of
Yikes.
people, like just to bring you back, there's people that when you do something on the internet, it's there forever.
Yeah.
Let's put it that way. Hmm.
Okay.
They popped up on my timeline like people you may know, and I'm like, who is this? And then you research the person, and you're like, oh, wow,
Ooh,
yeah, you're shocked.
okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, because I have people that like send me requests. I don't. I've got thousands of like friend requests on there that I don't even go through and look at and stuff. But once in a while, I'll approve people, or there's people that just follow you and you don't even know who they are. So okay. Anyway, we'll talk about it after. Um. So I guess probably the next thing I should talk about is there's three main ways that you can be exposed to this. So there's like all the products I mentioned before. And by the way, fast food wrappers are a huge one. People that consume a lot of fast food test way higher for these. So guys, if
yeah.
you can not eat fast food, please don't. But
Oh
takeout
yeah,
boxes.
the fast food wrappers. Yeah, I saw that.
Mhm.
Yeah, yeah.
Real
Plastic
quick,
wrap.
one of the worst things though, Anna, if you
Mhm.
go, like, say you go to like Arby's or one, this is something very important, like Carl's Jr. I'm not even joking. They'll have like that foil look on the outside,
Mhm.
and then it'll
Mhm.
be like white on the inside. And then
Mhm.
when you take the burger or sandwich or whatever it is, it's hot, and it'll be
Mhm.
foil, and then it's still white. Where do you think that went? Why do you think that area is not white anymore? And what was that? And now it's in your burger. It's on your food.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. And another big
Horrible.
culprit in the food category is microwave popcorn. They've tested it, and for some reason, like the popcorn sitting in those bags for long periods of time on the shelf, something about it leaches into it. And so they said microwave popcorn in particular is especially notoriously bad. So guys,
And then,
buy a
then
popcorn maker, make your own popcorn.
then you microwave the stuff into the actual corn as it's popping.
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. So don't do
Haven't eaten in
microwave
years.
popcorn.
What about
No,
Skinny
no,
Pop?
never
I eat
touched
that.
never.
Am I in trouble? Look it up. Somebody find out. Chat.
Yeah, I don't know what
Jiffy
that. I
Pop?
mean, probably.
No, Skinny Pop.
honestly,
It comes in the bag. It's supposed to be healthy.
like on the
popcorn.
stove.
No, I
Right?
don't.
No,
No,
what
I
are
don't
you
make
talking
that. No,
No, it's a
in
brand of
bag. It's
popcorn.
popped, and it
It
has.
just comes in a
Freaking
bag.
everything at this point.
Yeah. Now you got
Yeah.
me thinking.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean,
it's
pretty much
everything.
anything that comes out of a bag is probably
Yeah,
it's
for
probably going to
real.
have the PFAs and
Great.
For real. Anything wrapped
like
in
any-
plastic at this point.
Yeah,
Yeah.
any process, especially ultra processed foods, are just going to
Yeah,
be
TV
full of
dinners.
garbage.
Look at
Like,
Erica says she hates
disgusting.
TV
popcorn.
dinners
What the hell?
are probably some of the worst because they're packaged in black plastic, and there's something about that black plastic material in particular that when you put it in the microwave, which is typically how you're going to heat up a TV dinner, but if you heat it up at all, it leaches so much garbage, so much of those chemicals into your food, and most TV dinners that come in that black plastic.
Interesting. Yeah.
See, and I got people over here lying. You got Madeline's over here saying skinny popcorn is guaranteed to make you skinny, and then you have, then Tiger says skinny pop has oils in it, not good for you. Oh, well, that's everything. That's everything. Y'all are ruining.
Yeah.
my
Let me
life.
tell you a little story. I bought a winter jacket at one of the local places here. That's it's like a big chain of clothing stores here in Canada.
What?
And Mark's Work Warehouse.
Oh, I thought you were talking about Shop and Save. What is it? Bowmeisters? Save a lot?
Oh, save a
Goodwill.
lot. Yeah.
Goodwill.
No, Save. You don't know what I'm talking about? Save a lot?
Yeah, we don't have them here.
Stab a lot.
I'm joking. It's
Oh, okay.
a serial killer.
The episode we did
Baumeister?
on Herb Baumeister, he owned a bunch of save a lot.
Oh, you know what? Richard didn't
those-
watch. He didn't watch it. He didn't show up for that.
I did, but I was probably too busy talking crap in chat.
Yeah, see, he doesn't even pay attention to the show. He just shows up and
He
talks
doesn't
a lot of
listen when I
crap.
talk. Typical
I
man.
noticed.
I
Anyways,
beg to differ. So I get this jacket home. I bought this brand new winter jacket. I loved it. The thing was fantastic. And I get it home and I looked at the tag and it said made of 100% recycled plastic bags.
Oh wow.
what was this? Your jacket?
Wait.
The jacket was made
Oh,
of
yeah.
100% recycled plastic bags. And I was like, okay, the garbage with my brand new jacket. There's a couple
Jeez.
$100 out the
I've
door.
seen that. I've seen that, or like made out of recycled water bottles, stuff like
Well,
that.
if you
Yeah,
think
I've
that's
seen that.
bad, I used to like Gundam. You know the Gundam. When I was a kid, I liked Gundam. And
I don't know what that
when I
is.
found out about Mobile Suit Gundam, I went to go watch it the other day. And all of the names of the suits, of these robot suits, are all of the 72 demons of the Goetia.
Amazing.
So I had to go in my
Wow.
closet. This is true. You can ask Anthony, you can ask Nelly, anybody. I had to go in my, I had to throw my shirts away. Just that
Wow.
one, it's just the Mobile Suit Gundam. The other ones don't have any of that, but it's just that one. But I had a Mobile Suit Gundam shirt, and I had to go throw two of them. I had to throw them away. I mean, I will not wear that. I'm sorry. And in fact, one of them said Barbatos on there, and I was like, oh, dude, I didn't even notice that. Like, I had not noticed that. I got it for like Christmas years ago. I don't even know who gave it to me, a Scorpion or D or somebody, because they knew I like Gundam. And then it was like, but you know, you have to stand on your principles. Now, for you, that's not standing on your principles. That's keeping you safe from the PFAS.
Yeah,
You don't got much to work with anyway. What are you going to do if that takes it the rest away?
I know, right?
Right? It's just, you got to take care of yourself, Richard. That's all.
Says,
I enjoy
Sure,
your
Mom.
mutual shit talking. It adds. To the
We're not
show.
talking.
It adds a little flavor.
I'm backing up my brother here. Him and Anthony are my brothers in
you just drink out of that plastic bottle, buddy.
I am, dude, but this is actually crazy water. It's all natural alkaline, and it is not made with recycled plastics. It's made with non-PFA chemicals.
Okay.
Yeah. You're just angry. Don't be angry.
I believe you. Millions wouldn't, but I believe you.
Where are my glasses at? I can make sure I can read it to you. I found these years ago because I, unlike you, care about the environment. When I throw these in the street, I do not throw them near the rivers or lakes. I throw them near the homeless camps. They can use this. They can recycle it.
One man's trash is a homeless man's treasure.
Exactly. I'm not throwing it at them. I'm just like, here. And I throw it like the
Kobe.
I mean, sometimes it hits one of their
Jordan.
heads, but
That's what I do. That's how I do it. When we can finally get Richard to leave that Canadian wasteland and come down here, and then he can work out with real men, you're going to feel
Soon
weak,
enough.
insignificant at first. I promise you will. You're going to see my work. You're going to be like, oh, dude. But I can build you up from the puny, weak, girly man that you are. I can turn you into, you ever played Star
Nice.
Killer? Where Vader tells him?
I just got done playing Star Killer. Yeah.
He tells Star, he's like, you were weak when I found you. That's how I'm going to be. I'm going to take you and build you up. I'm going to be, you were weak when I found you, Padawan. Now,
Appreciate it.
Padawan.
You get me benching 660 and I will give you all the accolades in the world.
can't
bro.
do that. That's not what I said.
Yeah, that's crazy.
I can't. It's like fast hands. You're either fast or you're not. I can make you faster, but I can't make you fast. You either are or you're not. I can make you stronger, but I can't make you strong. You're either strong or you're not. You, I think, are strong, right? I can get you up to what about 415? You want to bench 415, maybe?
Absolutely.
I'll get you on my workout, dude. I promise you, you won't fail. If you do my workout, I will make you. We'll video it. I'll even show you. We'll make a thing of it, and we can make workout videos even. And you and Anthony can be the people that do it. They're not going to look at me. They're going to be like, "Who's this guy?" You guys are younger and y'all look more like, whatever, more fit. Even though I'm strong as shit, it doesn't matter. I'm not going to be the epitome of fitness, but I can use you guys to show people how to do the workout. No joking. I need some people like that. I get Tony, but he's lazy. He'll go sometimes, but he'll find excuses.
Oh, no, you got to smash it. You got to smash it every day, every
like
other
tonight
day.
is upper body,
it is.
tomorrow's legs. I got to hit it. I got to do what I got to do.
Dude, I did legs 2 days ago. I think I'm going to I can't even walk today. It's
Isn't it glorious?
unfreaking believable.
That's what you
Oh,
need. You need
then
to
I
eat
just-
that pain.
And then I just sit 6.5 hours in the car, buddy. I was like walking like a freaking stunned chicken when I got out.
Dude, I'm telling you, man, the pain,
Oh.
that is the problem.
I love
PFAs
it.
aside, I mean, everybody uses that as an excuse. What is everybody else's excuse for this? People are weak and they're not willing to put in the work. They are scared to go to the gym. Let me tell you something, folks. Getting to the gym is 90% of it.
Yeah.
Just take your ass and get up there and be there. Once you're there, don't protest anything. Just do what you have to do and get in there and work. And when you've done the reps of your set, do some more.
Exactly.
Just add more. Just keep doing it. Here's a trick I use, and I'll say this
10
and I'll
sets.
be quiet.
10 sets of everything.
Here's a I don't do that. Here's a trick I do.
Pussy.
When you're on that leg extension, next time you're doing your legs, right? Do a lightweight, like half of what you would normally do. Do 200 reps, right? But don't do 200 reps without stopping. Do 200 reps. Don't try to do it all, but do as many as you can. But then every time you stop, you lower the thing twice, making the weight go up. 2 times. Take that pen, do the leg extensions, and then do as many as you can of that 200. And then because when you stop, you have to lower the pen again and make it heavier. So by the time you're done, you're doing 6 to 8 times more weight because you're trying to. So you're motivated to do as many reps as you can with the lighter weight, but that helps because you're doing a massive amount of reps. I've done 80 with that.
Yeah. My buddy Mike Bierman at the gym, he looks like freaking Hercules, and that's what he does every single time.
It tricks you
Just
into
keeps
doing
dropping,
more.
just keeps. Oh, buddy, he's a soldier. This guy.
Mhm.
Yeah, shout out
That's
to
what you
Mike.
got to do. If you want to get those, and people are always asking me about traps, I have huge traps. That's that strong back. If you want that, you got to get in there and do shrugs. And I'm not talking about playing around. I do 3 sets of 90 with shrugs, right? That's how you get it. That's how you get that bull back. If you really want to be strong, there's ways to be strong. People don't want that. They don't like the pain. You have to be able to eat that pain. If you can handle pain, you can handle anything. Go in there and get in that sauna and don't drop dead, but get in there and get that heat going and then get into a cold plunge. Train yourself to enjoy the heat and the cold. Make yourself take cold showers. I haven't taken a warm shower in forever. I took one when my back was hurting about 3 weeks ago. I can't do it. My wife's always going like, yeah, it's too cold in the wintertime. I can't handle it. When in the summertime, you don't get it cold enough. I need to go to this place and go to submerge myself. The cold will hurt. It will hurt. Do the Wim Hof breathing. Now, don't do the shit these people, they breathe, they put their head in the water immediately. Well, of course, you're going to drop dead. You deserve it if you're that stupid. What I'm talking about is doing the breathing exercises, and get yourself strong. Because there's like what we're talking about tonight is very important. The PFAs, they're in everything, but you can't control all of that, but you can control your body. And Richard, you are I know Richard. Richard's strong. He's tough. We've talked about our workouts before. And when me and Richard talk, we're not just talking about, hey, meathead, you lifted that deadlift. No. We have intellectual conversations, but we do understand, and Anthony does too, the importance and the significance of your physical health and your mental health. It all is relative.
Yeah.
Right? It is. It really is. Anyways, go ahead, Anna. Go ahead.
Sorry, Anna.
No, go ahead, Richard. What were you going to say?
No, that's okay.
I was going to say, grab a pair of 40-pound kettlebells. Grab 2 40-pound kettlebells and do a serious kettlebell workout and tell me how you feel after that.
Yeah. Richard was giving me some advice on what kind of kettlebells to get because he was talking about what a
This
good
guy knows what
workout
he's
is.
talking about. I mean, he's, but if I could get you, Richard, I could turn you into a beast. I'm talking a savage beast. I mean, I have trained, there is no one for the 30 years I've been lifting heavy weight like I have, 30 something, 35 years, nobody that I haven't turned into an absolute monster. I can get people stronger anyway. And I've taken some weenies to the gym. And then they lay there like they're dying, and you're just like, whatever, dude. I'm like Ivan Drago. If he dies, he dies.
That would be me.
You shouldn't be that weak.
Me and my noodle arms.
Well, you're a woman. We're not
stronger.
expecting you to be. You don't have
Yeah,
to.
but I need to get my ass in gear for sure.
I had noodle arms at one time too. After 5 years of just absolutely smashing it and being consistent, all of a sudden you transform into a soldier.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Strength. And the physical strength, people may not appreciate and understand what it does. But when you have the strength, the physical strength, you bring a presence to you. When I would talk to my clients,
Yes. Oh, yes.
yeah, you walk in, you're 6'4", 350 pounds, and you're not just a blob, you're muscular, and you walk in and you have a presence. They're like, oh, this guy looks like security. You look like the person we want. Yeah. And then you trick them and you send this little nerd in there that works. And they call you. They're like, why is this guy here? What's his name? Tony? Anthony? And I'm like, oh yeah, that's I can't be there. I didn't. You thought I was going to work it? No. Mm-mm. I'm joking.
The old bait and switch works
the
every
old
time.
switcheroo, right? You bring them in, you're like, yes, let's talk about security, and then you send them. No, I'm joking. I always emphasize fitness with my people too. I don't want some big blob person, and I don't want some super skinny person. You need to look the part, and it's better for yourself because people don't realize how important strength and conditioning can be. You're not always going to have a to defend you. There's going to be times where you may have to do things. I had a friend of mine, he was a bartender years ago. He killed a guy. His name is Larson, and he literally he got away with it. It was not a get away with it. It was a self-defense. This dude broke into their house and crawled in through his bedroom window to rob them. And this dude was a bartender who I had been training and working out with for a few months, and he was worried because he was living in a very bad area, and he was trying to get his family out of there. But the guy had gone through a lot of problems, divorce, whatever, but he had his kids, and he had to defend his current wife and his kids, and this guy broke in, and they struggled, and he killed that man. He literally killed that man years ago, like 20 years ago. I'm telling you the truth. Like this guy, he came to me at the bar. I mean, he told me, he says, I don't know what's going to happen. It's self-defense. He was terrified of what was going to happen to him. But he said, dude, goes the strength and conditioning that you and your friends, because it was me, Squid, Diablo, Scorpion. He said, you guys gave me the bill, because I was thanking God afterwards that I was able to overpower this guy. He goes, because I wouldn't have been able to do it 6 months ago. I know. And it all started because he was living in a bad place. He goes, something could happen. I don't know. These people are, they'd already been broken into once. And this time the guy broke in and he was there. He was off that night. And that guy broke in and he overpowered this dude. You never know. His gun was like other side of the room. And this guy crawled in like basically on top of them. I mean, you never know, dude. I mean, you may come a time when you have to defend yourself and you may not have a knife or a gun. You have to be able to take care of yourself.
Yeah.
People just totally overlook that. But anyways, back to the PFAs. Go ahead, Anna.
Well, it's kind of a good segue because I was going to mention, like, speaking of strength differences with men and women, in my research, they said that more bad news for you guys, but men usually actually test higher for these things. But a reason for that apparently is that only applies up until women hit menopause, and then it evens out in the testing. And they said that's because menstruation and lactation are actually two ways apparently that the body can reduce some of the PFAS load. So even though these things stay in your body forever, it's not going to completely get rid of them. It will, for a woman at least, reduce it just a little bit. And so technically women usually test a little bit lower if they're of childbearing years, which I thought was interesting. So I suppose the next part I should get into are kind of some of the scandals and cover-ups that happened with all of this, and just how aware they were of what was going on. It was clear from the very beginning that these were super dangerous chemicals, and the factories where they were produced frequently had fires and explosions, and the workers were frequently being hospitalized with like breathing problems and chemical burns. And then, and you know what? I think there's a part that I kind of forgot to mention. Did I talk about how the Manhattan Project, the Manhattan Project was like a whole side thing where they wanted, okay, I need to go into that. So the US government was extremely interested in these chemicals right after they were first inadvertently invented. And so this new material that the chemist Plunkett had accidentally created, the government wanted their hands on, and they needed this class of chemicals for uranium enrichment when developing the atomic bomb, among a bunch of other military uses, because uranium, if I could say the word, enrichment involves a highly corrosive chemical called uranium hexafluoride, and almost nothing can contain it. But they determined that the only thing that could were substances that combine the strongest bond known to chemistry, which I mentioned earlier, which is the combination of carbon and fluoride, which is what PFAS or forever chemicals are. And it also became essential in military use for aircraft and auto exhaust systems. And of course, like we talked about, rain gear and then bulletproof gear and so on. And so the military, they also became aware of how dangerous this was. And the Manhattan Project inspectors, they warned their supervisors that there was actually unrest among the workers involved, and that the people in other parts of the DuPont facility had actually, they were so freaked out by this that they'd come to fear being assigned to that department, and because of all the stuff going on with it and all the explosions and all the health problems. And they were so worried about it that the employees even called, jokingly somewhat, called being assigned to that department being exiled to Devil's Island. But it wasn't just the workers being affected.
It was an island?
No, it wasn't, but they just jokingly called working in
Mhm.
that department being exiled to Devil's Island because of how much went wrong and how many people got sick and how many explosions and all this stuff that
Grief.
happened. And these were people that were working in DuPont, but they were working specifically regarding the Manhattan Project. And it wasn't just the workers being affected, because beginning in 1943, it very quickly became known that local farmers were being deeply impacted by this Manhattan Project related PFAS plant. And this was in New Jersey, by the way. So their crops were burning up. Farmers were becoming sick when they consumed the crops. And this is terrible, but their cattle were getting so ill and crippled that they literally couldn't even walk. They had to crawl on their bellies to graze. So it was very clear there was something bad going on.
What years
And
were these?
this was in 1943 when the farmers
Wow.
first started complaining about what was going on near this
Long
this
time ago,
Manhattan
it's
Project
already happened.
factory. Yeah, they were aware of this a long time ago, and I'm going to go into more detail now about just how
It's
aware
like
they
80
were.
years, dude. 80 something year. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a big cover up. It is a huge cover up. I mean, they had so much time to stop this tsunami on human health and nothing was done. And to this day, the EPA is just like twiddling their thumbs and like, "Oh, we're looking out for you guys." And but they're still allowing it to happen. And I'll get into the sludge deposits on farms and everything going on with that, which is also equally
me.
horrific.
Sorry.
And again, guys, please jump in if anytime if you want, because I've got a lot of ground to cover.
No,
But
we can't. We're going to keep going.
yeah, but I don't want to hog everything. So
You got the
so
info.
yeah, well, I tried. So in 1943, they launched a secret medical research program within this Manhattan Project kind of lab research setting. And it was to research the health effects of various Manhattan Project special materials, including not just the PFAS, but also uranium and plutonium themselves. And in fact, as part of this program, the scientists actually injected unknowing cancer patients with plutonium. And
Oh,
that would be, yeah, which I've heard of before. They've done that and so much worse. That would be a really interesting deep dive to do maybe sometime on Rumble, where guys, just go to a search engine sometime and look up like uh United States government experiments on the public, or medical experiments on the public or something like that, unknowing experiments done by the US government on the public, and it will blow your mind, the stuff that they have done. They have even, another side note, but they have even dumped viruses, infected insects, radiation over entire towns and cities. And obviously, they're not going to notify people because they're testing it. They've even dumped stuff on our own battleships while there were our own troops on board just to test the effects. I mean, it's unbelievably evil. They were shoving radioactive rods up children's noses. They were injecting uh, people like prisoners in prisons with all kinds of horrible things. They were injecting pregnant women, like, oh, just horrible stuff. But anyway, that's neither here nor there. But you get
Didn't
the
we just
idea.
go through that? Didn't we just go through that?
Yeah, exactly. One big experiment. Yeah, exactly. So the fact that they were injecting these unknowing and unwitting cancer patients with plutonium is absolutely unsurprising to me, but they were doing that. And they also investigated and experimented with the health and environmental effects of PFAS, these forever chemicals, because they were aware of what they were doing. They determined as early as 1947, that these chemicals were highly toxic and that they were accumulating in human blood. So they could already tell that they were starting to accumulate in the population. And this secret medical investigative program continued after the war under the auspices of the, what's it called? The Atomic Energy Commission. And then by 1975, they had internal reports in DuPont and within the government that openly stated, they didn't state it to the public or regulators or investors or any of that, but that stated in this documentation that's available today that it had determined PFAS had accumulated in the blood of people all over the world, but this information was totally kept under wraps and away from the public. And obviously, DuPont was well aware of this information, but they put profits over people and told the public that their products were completely safe, as they continue to do to this day. And it reminds me, I heard a quote recently, and I'm probably going to butcher it. I'm paraphrasing, but it basically said something along the lines of like, growth purely for the sake of itself, growth purely for the sake of growth is the essence of a cancer. Like that's the MO of cancer, to
Yeah.
grow just purely for
Yeah.
the sake of growth.
So what did guys like Richard and Anthony do as far as suing these people for what's happened to them?
I had a conversation with my dad earlier today because so I can't remember, was it Dow that bought DuPont or bought some aspect of DuPont because they changed the chemical composition of their weed spray. And my dad went into we had a family farm at the time, and my dad had a backpack sprayer, and he would spray certain areas of the hay crop. And I've mentioned this on the show before that he got poisoned with glyphosate. But when he went in to buy, the typical kind, and I was talking to him, like I said, about this just a few hours before the show, the guy at the store, he said, this isn't the same. And he said, oh no, they got bought out, but it's still the same stuff. It's the same thing. And my dad just took his word for it. Well, he used the backpack sprayer, and it turned out it had a leak in it, and it was running down his back. And my dad, yeah, when he gets set to a task, he's a mechanical engineer, and he's got that engineering brain, and he's just set on his task. He wasn't as focused on things like that at the time. He wasn't aware of the risks and stuff, and so he was just really focused, and he was exhausted by the time he was done because he was in his like 70s, maybe late 60s at the time. And so this crap had been on his back for 4 hours by the time he got done and went inside. And he was so exhausted, he accidentally fell asleep and didn't shower it off. And when he woke up, he said that his eyes were swollen shut. His feet were already so huge he couldn't put shoes on. And when he took his shirt off and looked at his back in the mirror where it had leaked on him, it looked like somebody had shot him with a shotgun because it was already just sores running blood down his back. So that's how toxic this stuff is. And he said that he actually called Dow because he looked more closely at the ingredients and he realized it was completely different. They totally changed the formula and put all this horrible crap in it. And he said that at one point he called them and said, look, you guys designed this. Like, I'm not calling to complain, but this happened to me. So you must know like what some sort of antidote for this is. And they said, it's not our problem. And he said, I know it's not your problem, but I really need some help. Like, can you tell me some kind of resource or what some sort of antidote for this kind of poisoning is? And they literally said, it's not our problem. Click, and hung up on him. And he called Poison Control Center. They had no idea what to do about it. And finally, he found a doctor, a really great doctor who was an oncologist and a blood specialist, who started doing blood draws. And I mentioned this before, so I won't go in depth on it. But guys, if you ever want to extend your life, a great way to do it is to get regular blood draws. Like, they're not putting anything else in, they're just taking your blood out because it forces your body to produce more, and it cleans out whatever you've accumulated and whatever toxins over the years. And I can only assume it would probably help with this PFAS crap too. But later on, I mean, he was on death's door. We literally thought we were going to lose him. He was so unbelievably sick. I don't even know how to describe it. But slowly through this process, and he was losing feeling in all of his extremities. It was killing the nerve endings. Just all kinds of horrible stuff. He would have sores all over his body, just spontaneously open up and bleed. Just literally, you'd be talking to him and you'd suddenly see a spot just start bleeding, just magically out of nowhere. It was horrific. And so I remember crying and praying because we thought he was going to die, but now he's healthy as a horse. And he went in for testing at one point, and his doctor said, he kind of sat back in his chair and said, I don't know how to explain this, because you're in your 70s and you have the blood panel of like a 25-year-old. So, and his brother is close to the same age, and he's in really poor health. He's dealing with cancer. He's got all kinds of stuff going on. He looks, like he's not doing great. And whereas my dad is just, like a healthy as a horse. I don't know how else to describe it, but he's always been very active too. He's always lifted heavy stuff. So stay active, get blood draws. I'm telling you guys, it makes a huge difference. But that's the only thing that saved his life. And my only reason for going off on that story is the crap that they put in these products is so unbelievably toxic. And the other thing that he mentioned to me is that the fine print on the label of this new spray after they bought them out said you cannot sell your hay crop for 2 years after you spray it. But they don't like publicly announce this to the public. And who sits there and when they buy their weed spray or whatever, read that little label? So you have farmers all across the United States that are using this product, thinking it's still the same thing, feeding it to their horses and their cattle, and selling their hay, and having absolutely no idea that the company hasn't disclosed to them, except for that little tiny fine print you need a magnifying glass for, that it says do not sell your product for 2 years after using this.
Louise.
Yeah, and we're eating it, so
Yeah.
that's great news.
Hey, Jadzul, talk to Nelly in the health chat, in the PRT health chat, please.
And Matt has a comment here. What do you think about that, Richard? Anna.
Blood or plasma draws are a great way to perform. I don't even doubt that. It makes sense. It's like changing the oil in your damn car.
And we don't do it. But there are things you can do, and this is going to sound like a broken record. I know it sounds crazy, but your body regenerates its cells. After 7 years, you're a different person than you were 7 years ago. I'm not joking.
Yeah.
But there is something to lifting weights, because if you lift weights, your body will regenerate all that, and it flushes a lot of things out.
Yeah. And that's a big part of my dad's health. He doesn't hit the gym, but he just lifts heavy stuff all that. He's
if you're
constantly
lifting
moving around,
weights
lifting
because your
stuff.
muscles have to be used.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he's strong for being
breaking
almost 80
down-
years old. He's strong.
Yeah.
So what happens is when you lift weights and you're always regenerating that tissue, whatever, you're flushing out all of that stuff. So cancers can't take hold.
Yeah.
A lot of sedentary people who don't want to work out, or people who, people aren't going to like what I say here, but people only do cardio. You're not getting the same burn. The only thing you're going to lose weight from, and I'm telling you, is when your body just reheals that one little layer of muscle. So guys like me, Richard, and Anthony, who lift all the time, you're going to be healthier. You're going to be stronger. You could look at my face. I'm not joking. I'm 51 years old, and I haven't lost anything in the gym. And you look at, this is not dyed. I mean, I am not full of gray hair. I'm not full of, I don't look like I'm 51. And I'm telling you, this maybe is genetics. My dad didn't start getting gray until he was, 65. But this is the thing. I mean, you go to the gym, and my dad works out all the time. So you go to the gym and you work out, It does. It is the fountain of youth. I'm telling you, it really is. Richard, we've talked about this.
100%.
I don't know what happened to you. You're terrible, but I mean, most people they look. I'm messing with you. Seriously, buddy. No, I'm joking with it.
My
Seriously,
dad was gray at 30. I don't have a
I
gray
mean,
hair on my
you
head.
got a full head of hair though.
Couple right there.
Well, you got a little bit, but that's where everybody gets a little bit of gray. But you have a full
Yeah.
head of hair too. I mean, you're not. One of the things I know is that when you stop and you look at yourself and you go to the gym regularly, you'll notice you're not as you don't look as old. I'm not joking.
No,
It is
you
a
don't.
true thing.
I'm
Yeah.
112.
Oh, well, this is great for the vampire episode tomorrow.
Yeah,
Then
this is what we're doing with the vampires.
we get
Richard,
to interview an actual vampire. Great.
the guy that says that he would kill me if he knew I was a werewolf.
And cut your head off.
God,
That's just what a vampire would
that's
say.
what a vampire would do, wouldn't it? Isn't it what a vampire would do?
He'd mount it on a stake in his front
Kill
yard. I
his
guarantee it.
enemy. What if
Yes.
that werewolf didn't want to be a werewolf, Richard? It's not his fault. You ever thought about that? See?
Vampires don't
Think
give
about
mercy.
yourself.
Vampires don't give mercy.
Exactly. What you are. Anybody ever seen this guy during the day? I think not.
Hmm.
Although we know from PRT they can live in the day too. So it doesn't count, but still.
It's true.
Exactly.
But here's the thing. This is horrible. What you're talking about, the glyphosate.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And then I'm going to say something, and it's probably going to be, we probably should say it on Rumble, but I'm going to say it here. We'll use code words, I guess, during the VX period of the VID.
Mhm.
People were injecting that Hydra into their bodies,
Mhm.
straight up into their bodies, and then wondering why they were dropping over.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And the thing is, like, people say, well, I got it and it didn't kill me. Well, you don't know how much you got injected with. Maybe you didn't get a full dose of whatever.
Or maybe they got an
UStrials.gov.
inert dose.
UStrials.gov. There was a placebo, 10 mils, 20 mils, and 30 mils.
Let's be careful what we say because you got to go to Rumble and kind of talk about this stuff because
Yeah.
U.S. and the Canadian governments are not our friends.
No,
they are
they're
not. I'm telling you, they are not your friend.
They're
I mean, no government on this planet is your friend.
It was just
They are
going through
about
that.
control. That is it.
Mhm.
And these companies, now you're talking about the Solvays, the DuPonts, the Krupps, they all worked for governments. They were all in bed with each other and with governments, and they were all in it together. I mean, remember that. I mean, and what did they do? They made these forever chemicals and weapons to kill everything they did is about the depopulation.
Mhm.
Anyways.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm sorry your dad had to go through that, Anna.
Yeah, no kidding.
Thank you.
That's horrible.
Absolutely.
Well, ironically, the thing that almost killed him because of this doctor he found, who was a lot of doctors, they're very kind of brainwashed by the mainstream medical system, and they refuse to think outside of the box. But this is one of those rare physicians, and he's become a very dear family friend. He became my mom's oncologist when she got sick with cancer. He's a wonderful guy. But he's one of those rare ones that can really think outside the box, and he was willing to experiment and try different things and was open to suggestions. And so, and he did the whole alternative protocol and approach I wanted to do with my mom. And so it was great. But anyway, my point being, ironically, the thing that almost killed him is probably going to be the thing that winds up extending his life in the long run, due to the fact that he had to replace his blood. Because when I say he did these blood draws, he didn't go in for like a few weeks or a few months. He did this weekly or biweekly for years to get this stuff out of his system. Because as soon as it goes into you, when he started calling experts that knew about it, they said, look, this bonds to the proteins in your blood almost instantly, and you can never get it out. But they weren't thinking along those lines of like literally taking the blood out. They just said once it's
Makes
bonded,
sense.
you're kind of screwed. Yeah.
Makes
And so,
perfect sense.
yeah. And so he had to do this for a long, long, long time. But if you're talking about somebody who hasn't been poisoned like that, other than the everyday poisoning that we've all been exposed to, something like blood draws, like even if I don't know how people feel about donating blood. I know there's a whole conspiracy aspect to that as well. But if you can't find a physician or something that's willing to take your blood on a more regular basis, you could always just donate blood every couple of months, and even that's going to force your body to produce new amounts. So I'm just I just want to get that information out there because it made such a huge difference. It saved his life, but not only that, literally it has kept him healthy and young from somebody who was knocking on death's door. And now I think he'll probably live quite a long time. As a matter of fact, I was at a family function just the other day, and my uncle was sitting there looking, you know, kind of tired and worn out, and he's only a year older than my dad, and he turned to me just out of the blue. He was looking at my dad, and he turned to me and said, I think ironically what your dad went through, I think it's going to wind up giving him a really long life. So I mean, even he could see it.
Amazing, eh?
Yeah. Yeah. So it's just I only rehash the story because I think it's important health information for people to have. And it's also important for people to be aware of what they're spraying on all of the food that we consume. And even if you don't directly consume the crops that are sprayed with it, which unfortunately we pretty much all are, there's runoff into the water supply, and then the animals are consuming it. So if you eat meat,
Oh, wow.
it's in their protein. It goes straight into
Yeah.
their blood protein and their muscle tissue
And then we
and
eat it.
everything. Mm-hmm.
Yep. It's damn.
Yeah.
I mean, a lot of this stuff is review for me, but it brings it back to the forefront and what we're dealing with.
Yeah, it's massive. Yeah, and they found it, and it's not just livestock. The forever chemicals, for instance, they found it in whales and polar bears and birds and fish. As a matter of fact, one of the biggest culprits they said is eating I think it was freshwater fish from like the Great Lakes. That's like one of the biggest no-nos. It has a huge contamination profile.
Do you eat that, Richard? From the Great Lakes?
I have.
Yeah, I would avoid it.
The Lake America, the new Lake America. They're going to change Lake Ontario to Lake America.
Yeah.
Oh, all the boomers here are losing their minds, dude. It's so funny. It's so funny.
Like the Gulf of America.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, all the people from Mexico that I know, I have a lot of friends down there, and they're like, they don't give a shit. They just call it the Gulf. Nobody here. I mean, we have beaches down here and stuff, and nobody here calls it the Gulf of Mexico. Because I don't think I've ever gone like, hey man, I'm going down to Padre Island to the Gulf of Mexico. Nobody says that shit. Nobody ever says that. And now it's like, oh, the liberals are like, oh, you're calling it the Gulf of America. I don't think I've ever used it one time. It is in a destination. I'm like going to Port Aransas. My cousins and friends are down there. I'm going to visit them at the Gulf of America. Like, you don't say that. You say you're going to Port A. Everybody in Texas knows you say Port Aransas. You're going to go to Aransas, or you go to Padre, or you go down to South Padre. You just say that where you're going to go. You don't go, oh, I'm going to go to Mustang Island at the Gulf of Mexico. Like, I've never told anybody. I used to go every year, 2 or 3 times a year down to the beach. We're only like 3 or 4 hours away, so it's easy. And I'm saying, I'm telling somebody the other day, a friend of mine, my cousin's husband, I was telling him, I was like, tell him I was going to go through there and I was going to stop at Goliad, and because it's really haunted. If you guys ever get your ass down here, I'm going to take you to a million places. We can go. And I talked to them at Goliad about maybe letting us do a nighttime investigation there. It's about an hour and a half from the beach, right? So
let's do it.
And I told them, I said, I'm going to go down to the Gulf. Never ever have I said the Gulf of America, the Gulf of Mexico. Why would you add that on there? Just you're going to the Gulf.
Yeah.
It's just stupid. Like, and people argue and they lose their minds about it.
Who cares?
Who cares? Like, nobody gives a damn. I'm never going to call it Lake America, whatever. I don't care. It could be called Lake, Fish Heads or what. I don't give a shit.
Yeah, I'm just going to stop eating the fish that come out of there, though. And it's like, it's all in the tuna and salmon and all that crap, too, right? So,
what are you, so you were eating it on a regular basis or what?
I wouldn't say on a regular basis, but we do lots of fishing and stuff like that. And you can,
I know you do.
Yeah.
And yes, Nelly, we are going to Goatman Bridge. I just saw her mention that in the chat.
Dude, I'm telling you,
owes me a trip to Goatman Bridge. I've been looking forward to that for a long time. We're definitely doing that.
We saw a blue orb in the water. Here's what's crazy. Wow. Canada has more lakes than any country on the earth.
Oh, by a long
There's
shot.
just lakes everywhere.
It's
Right?
ridiculous.
Everywhere. And
Ridiculous.
people don't realize I've been to Canada about 4 times, probably 5 times. British Columbia, Windsor. First time I went, I was in Detroit. And my friends are like, hey, let's go to Canada. And I'm like, well, I hadn't thought about it. Where's it at? I mean, I'm like 19, something like
It's
that.
literally right there.
And so we walked across, and it was like, what? Like, dude, it is night and day. One looks like a rock after they bombed it. And then you go to Windsor, and everybody's like, it was so nice and clean. But now my friends up there are telling me that it's horrible.
Yeah,
like it has become the third world now, because these people that these leftist idiots, they cannot stand if something is clean. They're like, you know what this needs? The third world. It just doesn't. It's just too many people that are fair skinned, and we just have to destroy it. And they come in and they just jack it up.
It's so true, bro.
It's horrible. It is horrible. I talked about it earlier on Blondes and Booze. They're destroying Christianity. Europe was the hub of Christianity, so they got to get rid of it. They got to destroy it. They got to just take a big dump on it. America, Australia, Canada, those are offshoots of Christian Europe. Get rid of it. That's what they're doing. You can't convince me. You're not going to fool me. And don't say my mother is Hispanic and Native. Don't try to tell me that I'm some white supremacist bigot. I'd be, going after my own people if I did that. I'm talking about what is right, what's wrong is wrong. And this is wrong, what's happening. It is not. We are not supposed to be over there no more than they're supposed to be over here. That's the truth. I don't care what anybody says. And this pollution and all this other stuff, there's a certain group of people that are behind a lot of this. And you're not going to tell me that I cause global warming because I won't drink out of a coconut straw or whatever the hell you want me to, bamboo straw. Go F yourself, okay? Go tell India and China to stop breeding and stop making tons of pollution and causing tons of problems and spreading out all over the universe. Then come back and tell me about my plastic straw.
When I was in San Francisco with a friend a number of years ago, it was when they were implementing the whole ban on plastic straws and stuff. And I thought it was so ironic because they also implemented the policy where they were handing out free syringes for the addicts. And so there was just syringes all over the ground and just crap everywhere, but they're banning plastic straws. It was just like, okay.
Me and Scorpio had to step over. Luckily, Nelly, the other people we were with, they stayed in the vehicle, and Nelly was one of them. But we had to step over a guy dying at the gas station in San Francisco. Now, having done my job, one of my good friends is an EMT, and we grew up together. And he came a couple times to places where I had to call people, And me and him together, my friend, who was an EMT, he told me, he's like, dude, we watched a guy die at one of these condominiums where I was doing security at for this company, probably 25 years ago now. But it was down there near the UT campus. And the guy had OD'd. And I had gotten there. But even with first aid training and all that CPR, you can't do nothing. I mean, this dude had taken a hot dose of it's funny we're talking about this. They call it Shiva. It was a notoriously bad thing that was going around about 25 years ago of heroin, and these college kids were falling over. And I asked him, what is he on? They said he was on Shiva. I said, oh, he's done. He took too much. Real easy to overdose on that heroin. And he was laying there, and this EMT friend of mine, Adam, he showed up. And he doesn't do it anymore. He used to, but we were standing there, and he's like, there's nothing we can do for this guy. So when I saw the guy in San Francisco several years ago, he was laying there. He was doing the same thing like that, And I told the clerk, I said, dude, this guy, and he was rigged up, and there were dirty needles all over the place. I said, dude, this guy's dying right here by the restroom. And that guy just walks out and hands on his hips, and he's like, well, another one, and just walks back in, calls the police. And it's like, this is what happens when the left takes over something.
They're a death cult.
Death cult, yeah. The cult of ignorance leads to the cult of death. I've been saying that for years.
Yeah.
But they're also actively a death cult. I mean, they really are.
Absolutely.
And there's a spirit of death to them too. Even the women that are like, I love to kill my kids. You literally see them scream that on camera.
And look at how they go and they protest This woman that killed her kids, they are just so. Look at that thing I posted
Yeah, I
about the
did.
woman who got all the burns on her, and then I posted it on
Yeah,
Facebook. Y'all go check
I
it out if
reacted
you're.
to it right before the
I
show.
saw
Yeah,
that.
like postpartum depression is a very real thing. I understand the argument that certain people are making, but at the same time, this like cult of women that are like fangirling out in a really weird, sick way. It's very strange. Very,
It's
very
demonic.
strange.
It's demonic.
Yeah. I mean, they're straight up like celebrity statusing her. I mean,
She
like, I'm sorry,
murdered
but
her children,
yeah,
and
you still
then
have to be accountable for your actions.
she had a case of the SADS. So it's okay to go and do that. No, dude. And these people, they want ninth month. You decide you don't want to keep your kid, just murder it.
That's the law in Colorado, and they just recently passed that in, what state was it? Was it Massachusetts?
Hey, look up what they're trying to bring into Idaho now.
What are they doing here?
Same thing, 9-month abortion.
No, that I
Swear.
cannot imagine that passing
I
here.
just saw that like 2 days ago.
That doesn't mean they did it. They're
No,
proposing
they're
it.
going to.
No,
yeah,
I
they're going
know,
to propose it.
but that's
They
why I'm
tried that
saying,
here in
like,
Texas, and it
I
lost by a
can't I
landslide.
cannot imagine that passing here.
No,
Because right now the laws are that it has to be it's only in cases of R word or I word. I'll let you guys, we're on YouTube, so I'll let you go, I'm sure everyone knows what that means. And it has to be, even in those instances, it has to be first trimester, and they must have reported it to authorities. So there's like real strict protocols as far as those policies go in the
well,
state.
this is
I
a
can't imagine them
battleground state
passing.
right now. This
Mhm.
is a battleground state, and I'm telling you, we need more people down here who think and act like we do to keep the scales tipped in our favor, because they're trying all kinds of bullshit,
Yeah.
and we keep having to fight it down. But dude, how much can you do? And they want Texas bad. Texas
Oh yeah, of course they
is
do.
easily an independent country, and not only if we
Mhm.
opened up the oil like we could, we'd be the richest country on earth by a landslide.
Mhm.
I'm telling you, this is not even. Oh yeah, Jordan said James Tellerico, dude. We got it. I'm telling you, we have to stop these people, man. We need more people like us
Yeah.
to
I feel
stand
like
up and say no.
I even had a conversation one time when I was in the hospital. I had a conversation with one of the nurses about this, and she actually resonated with it and said she's thought this before and agreed. I get into weird, deep conversations with everybody. I can't like keep it contained. But I was telling her, like, I feel like every state actually has its own consciousness. It's almost like its own organism. And
It
even
does, yeah.
when you cross state lines, sometimes as soon as
You
you
can
cross
feel
into
it.
the state line, you can feel the energy shift. And I think that I've
Mhm.
always thought, is it that people with certain consciousness and a certain vibrational frequency, they gravitate to certain states, or is it the other way around, that certain states attract certain people? Maybe it's a bit of both. But I also find it interesting that coastal cities seem to always be liberal strongholds. I don't know
Gross.
if I don't know what that's about.
Except the coastal cities here, they're not. I mean, that's why I
Right.
said Texas is not on board with this shit.
Yeah, Texas is like a country unto itself. But
Into itself. No
that's
state
what reminded me
tax.
of it, is Texas is almost the epitome of that, of just like this totally different
And
vibe
it
to it.
translates into sports, because one of the things the enemy knows is that sports are very important, because that is a source of your state pride. We have
Mhm.
two teams who here's one right here. Look at this. The Astros, that's one of their old logos, but they have that star, on the hat, that's Lone Star. The same thing with the Rangers. They have that Lone Star. Texas has that star on their helmet. The Cowboys, they have that star on their helmet. That's why whenever there's somebody who's born and bred here, I know two people in my life, two people that were born and bred in Central Texas, and they follow the 49ers, San Francisco 49ers, dude. Okay. And I'm going like, dude, it's an ideological war even, dude. And it is, you can see it when our teams play these other teams, they cheat. The referees literally cheat. I kid you not. And people think that I'm just crazy or whatever. No, dude. I noticed all this stuff. I noticed crap when I was young. Like I noticed. And I asked my dad, I asked them old timers, we had lost the NLCS championship, the Astros, to the Mets, and you could see there was a picture. A guy put it at the Phillips 66 right there, downtown Taylor. You could see Glenn Davis catching the ball. The guy was out, and we lost that championship to go to the World Series, which we would have won. And I asked my dad, I said, why did we always get screwed? Because my dad said same thing happened with the Cowboys and the Steelers and all these Super Bowls, all this, and he says, dude, we get screwed because we're Texas. He just told me that. I was with my uncle. We were baling hay. I'll never forget this. I was helping him. We were baling hay, and my uncle said we were listening to a game on the radio, and I was a kid. I don't remember. I was young, and he turned the radio off and discussed. And I don't remember what team it was or what. I was young. I was real young, and they were teaching me how to bale hay. And I said, "What happened?" And my uncle's like, "We're Texas." And and I looked at him and I was like, "What do you mean?" And he got down on one knee and he says, "I'm gonna tell you something." He's like, "We will always, always be persecuted and get the short end of the stick because we're from Texas." And it just stuck in my head. And these old timers who always would complain, And I remember watching the Spurs lose to the Lakers in one of these. They played them a bunch of times. We beat them once, and then they beat us, whatever. But I remember watching this, and the calls were horrible, and everybody was pissed. And this bartender just turned the channel, whatever, and he's like, "Well, that's what happens when you're from Texas." So you grow up just learning to expect that you are, either college or pro, whatever. If you're from Texas and you're playing someone else, they are going to screw you.
Mhm.
You're going to get cheated, and you have to learn to just kind of expect it and accept it. And then when I tell people that, they joke and laugh. They say, "Oh yeah, right." No, you don't understand. I can show you so many examples of my teams in the playoff games and in championship games getting all the calls against them
Oh yeah,
all the time.
It's all rigged.
It's always, and Texas always
All
gets the
rigged.
brunt of it, bears the brunt of it. And one thing if you're a Cowboys fan, Texans fan, Astros, Rangers, the Dallas Stars, it doesn't matter what the Texas team is, you have to understand that you will play the referees because you're playing the establishment, and you will play the team you're playing. The Astros were playing the Yankees. The Yankees are a prime example of just they give them everything, dude. Everything. The Yankees and the Lakers, dude, are two teams that just benefit from LA and New York. They get all the calls, they get everything. And I was watching this game, and I'll never forget, it was Garrett, what's his name? I can't remember his name. Garrett Cole. He was pitching. And the strike zone for him against the Yankees was like this big. And then that umpire got plunked in the head because the ball got tipped or something, and he got hit, and he got pulled out of there, and that other umpire went in like the fourth or fifth inning, and it was like a different game. And we won that ball game. And afterwards, they tried to get Garrett to say something about it. And he's like, "I'm not going to say anything. I'm saying two umpires, totally different game." That's all he would say, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now he plays for the Yankees, but they pick up everybody. They have all the money. But he literally says, he's like, two different games. And we won that series. But you know that you have to play the refs. You have to play the umpires. Whether it's basketball, football, baseball, there have been players that have retired from these teams and have said, "Dude, it's much easier playing for this other team because, it just is. Because you don't have to play the refs all the time. They get the calls. They're going to get the calls."
I really think it's all rigged, man.
It's rigged by the refs.
Yeah. There's too much money in sports betting to not rig it.
Yeah. But they've been doing this for a long time, and I think that it's not about the money so much anymore. It's agenda. You have to suppress Texas. And Florida was getting it too. It was happening in Florida because, and I'll tell you why, because Florida was a battleground state too. And they were catching a lot of, I was noticing it because I'm a Buccaneers fan and I like the Tampa Bay Lightning. And I've noticed that with a few of my Florida teams. I'm like, what? You see it too, because they are another battleground state. So, but Texas has been this way for a long, long time. And it was taught to me as a child, pay attention and watch. They don't like us. And when you go somewhere else around the country, they're taught to mistreat you. They don't like you. I've been to so many other states where they just automatically, you say you're from Texas, and they're like, yeah, me. Never been there. They don't know anything about us. They think that we walk around with a chip on our shoulder with 10-gallon hats and that everybody's, whatever. And they dislike the shit out of you, even though they've never even met a Texan. But you go to other countries and they love you. Like I got a lot of love from other countries. When I've been abroad, they're like, oh, cowboy, Texas, they love it. But when you're here in your own country, and I would tell these people, yeah, y'all love us, but our own neighbors, the other country, their country they hate us.
Propaganda.
It's propagandized. Yeah. A person that's very close to me from California, her family and all of her friends or whatever, you say something about Texas and they're like, ew. They had something snotty to say. And I'm like, have you been here? Maybe you've been through here. I don't know. Do you really know the culture? Do you know anything about us? Because they don't like you. They just don't. Californians and New Yorkers and Chicagonites and New Jerseyan people, they just are taught to hate us. And those are very liberal places. Very liberal places. We were in Oregon and I asked for directions one time years ago, and this guy was like, where are you from? I said, dude, I'm from hell, dude. Can you just tell me where he's like, you're from the South. He could tell my accent. So I just kind of had to, I said, no, dude, I'm not. Dude, can you give me, and he just walked off. Shit, I just wanted to, he had a little Fidel Castro hat on. I just wanted to beat his ass I want to take a book and just body slam his face with it, But I was just like, so I had to go in there and excuse me and talk like, whatever, hell linen, whatever, These people are communist leftists on steroids over there in Portland. Horrible people. They're
Portland.
terrible
Yeah.
people.
Ooh.
There is not a good person left in that damn city. I'm telling you, they are trash, dude. Trash. Yeah. And then you go to Seattle, and it was a little better, not much. If you're paying them, they'll be nice to you. But if you
remember Chaz in Portland?
Mm-hmm. No, that was in Seattle. Chaz.
Oh, was it?
Mm-hmm. They found dead bodies on the beach right there in trash bags. 9 trash bags filled with dead bodies, and it was a blip on the radar, and then that was it. Like, oh, really? Okay. So we're going to act like, this didn't happen. Lord of the Flies up there.
Yeah.
It was in Seattle, right there by the downtown.
I totally forgot.
Seattle and San Francisco were so nice when I went there in 2010.
The good
They were
old days.
such nice cities, man. It breaks
and
my
the
heart.
climate is nice. Portland, Seattle, and San Francisco are nice places, but it's filled with not nice people. And the people in Seattle are they're just trash, dude. I'm telling you. But it was about 30-70. 30% were nice, 70% weren't. And but in Portland, it's 99.9%. I have nothing but trash people. And I remember, like in Seattle, I asked this lady where the Athena was, and she's just like, she wouldn't even talk to me. I was like, excuse me. I was standing right there with Scorpion. He was right there with me. I said, where is the Athena? She's like, she points. I said, wow, your flowers are ugly. How about that, lady? I walked up.
Denver used to be nice too, and it's quickly turning into a new Seattle or Portland.
No, it's there.
Oh,
it was already there.
Why do you think I moved?
Yeah, it was already there when I was there several years ago. I went there because I went to that comic book store. It's the biggest comic book store. And I couldn't believe it. There was a baseball card shop that was still there after all these years. When I was a kid, the one thing I remember was my introduction to atheism. I was a little kid. I was like 7 or 8. My dad took me. And my mom and dad were always at odds. My dad said, well, I'm taking my son on vacation. So we went with my dad, and the girls went with my mom, and they went on some stupid vacation. I don't remember. And so I went with my dad, and my dad was like, I said, I had this Beckett price guide. It's a baseball card price guide. And in the back pages, it had these advertisements for baseball card shops. So I told my dad, I said, Dad, we're going to Colorado. Can we go to Denver? He's like, well, we'll go through Denver because my dad's friends live up there. And he goes, we're going to go to Denver. I said, yes. And so I waited. So when we got to about Pueblo, I couldn't resist. I started bugging him. I said, Dad, I was like, there's this place. It's a baseball card shop. I forgot the name, Bill's Cards or something like that. It was there for years, dude. I told my dad, I said, can we go there? And my dad's like, he looks at it, and there's the address on the back. It was like 1986, 85. It was a long time ago. I think I was 8 or 9. And so my dad took me right there across the street from this baseball card shop was the atheist bookstore.
Boy.
right there in downtown Denver. And my dad
Right.
goes, he goes, what is, why are, he was talking to the owner, and the owner was closing up, and he goes, why is that a thing? We have a bookstore for that? And the guy rolls his eyes and goes, yeah, they're trying to take over Denver. That was back in the 80s. So they were making inroads. So I get in the truck with my dad, and I'm like, Dad, what is that? He says, it's when people don't believe in God. I was like, oh, yeah. And I'd heard it before, but I didn't realize that it was like a militant religion unto itself, and it was right there in downtown Denver. And so you're going like, wow.
These people are
Yeah.
mad.
Atheism it's interesting for a quote unquote non-religion. It's one of the most militant religions, like they're so adamant about convincing other people to join in their cause. Like I'll even see billboards trying to convince people. It's like, well, if you don't believe anything, why do you care if anybody else believes in anything? But they're like rabid about, it pisses them off when other people believe in stuff. Ooh, that's
They are of
creepy.
their father, the devil, and they will do his will.
Oh, thank goodness it was the dog that opened the door. The door just like opened really, really slowly, and I couldn't see anything in the dark. It was the dog. Thank goodness.
They like to go and recruit people to become nutso like them. And recently, Tony, he's actually working for a friend of mine, and he has a bar where they do security at, right? And they had an event there, and it was this atheist group. And him and this guy, Steve, they were telling me, we were at the gym, and they were just, and Tony was telling me he said it was horrible. Like it was just the most nasty people you can imagine. A lot of them were from the LGBTQ, whatever it's called. And he said that but they had a podcast. And I said, dude, I've interviewed people who've told me they were agnostic or atheist until some shadow being walks into their room. And they're like, what the hell is that?
Ooh.
I know a guy who literally started taking medication. He was on citalopram and he was on lorazepam, all those stuff, because he thought that he was having anxiety, which was leading to the haunting that was going on in his house, his apartment. And I told him, I said, his name was Grady. I remember this guy. And I said, Grady, what do you, and I told his story, but I didn't say his name on the show. And he was talking about this, and he says, dude, I was going to the doctor thinking I was crazy, schizo, all this stuff, taking medication, and it was still happening. He was so ingrained in that atheistic bullshit. And his brother, who was a born-again Christian, him and his wife took this guy and told him, look, dude, you have something demonic here. He said, well, I don't believe in it.
All right.
It
Good
doesn't
luck
matter
with
whether
that.
you believe in it or not. It exists.
It believes in you.
Yeah. Yeah. It sees you, even if you don't want
Once
to
it
see
grabbed him and pulled him off the bed, then things changed. Well,
that should do it.
Crazy, man.
yeah, then he was just like, but even then his heart was hardened to God. You know what I mean? And he would go to these meetings with these other lunatic atheists that would try to reinforce his stubbornness.
Of course.
They believe that they are the logical, normal people when they've gone so far that way to the left that they become crazier than the most extremist religious people.
Yeah.
Well, anyway.
It's
All right,
like-
guys. Well, we're going to run here. Anna, thank you for bringing all this to the.
You're welcome.
Yeah, that was
Yeah,
amazing.
there's even more I could go into, trust me. But yeah. Oh, one thing I did before we run, I just want to mention real quick. A big thing people need to be aware of is that they went to a bunch of farmers. I'm not even sure when this started. I think it was back around the 70s. It might have been even a little bit before that. And these companies had all of this toxic sludge that they wanted to get rid of, all these byproducts from the production of these PFAS chemicals. And they knew what was in it, of course. And they had run all these lab tests on like lab monkeys and stuff. Oh, and by the way, when they ran tests on monkeys, because they were the most biologically similar to humans, they had to call off the test because all the monkeys died, all of them. So that should tell you something. But anyway, they approached all these farmers and they said, hey, we have a great deal for you guys. Could you do your civic duty and help these companies out by allowing us to infiltrate your land with all of this sludge? It's going to make great fertilizer. And they didn't disclose to the farmers that it was absolutely rife with PFAS and heavy metals. And so they have been dumping it on all of our farmland all across the US since the 1960s, 1970s, up until the present day. And to this day, as I speak, they are still doing it in 48 states, and the EPA is not doing anything about it. And there are farmers I watched interviews with that have had to go and shoot and kill like 80% of their herds because the levels were so high in the cattle. They've had to close down their farms. It's ruined their lives. The farmers themselves have tested like 400 times higher than the lethal levels for this stuff, and they have little children that have it. I mean, just horrible, horrible stuff. And like DuPont, they knew about all these horrible birth defects that the women in their factories were having. And so they silently moved all the women to different departments away from the most toxic areas. They didn't tell them why, they just silently made the change. So they were aware of all this stuff. But I just want people to be aware they are still dumping this crap on farmland to this day, and we are all consuming it. So even if you eat like organic, it's on organic farms. One of the things I watched was all about a family where their dream was to have an organic farm. And they were this young couple that started up an organic farm, and they were doing great. And then they voluntarily tested, and they found out that they have levels so high, it's just absolutely unbelievable. They had to shut down their farm. So even when you try to eat organic, you could potentially be eating ungodly levels of this stuff.
Yeah. Tiger says, can't wait for the next TRRF. That's true. That's the Real Random Files. That comes on Saturday. We'll be together
absolutely.
on Saturday.
We're able to talk more freely on there.
Yeah. Tomorrow night, we're gonna do a show, right? We'll be probably 9 o'clock. Is that okay? It's later. It's a Friday night.
9 o'clock.
We don't usually get big crowds on the Friday night shows for whatever reason. It's never been our night, but
vampires.
We will get a decent bunch of playback. I know that people will watch it. But anyways, guys, thank you for tuning in. I have to go. I have to try to hit the gym tonight, and I work out late. Sometimes I work out early. It just depends. But I got to do something. But thank you for tuning in. Richard, why did your cousin, he kicked you out to the barn?
No, he's going to bed. We got a bunch of stuff to do tomorrow. So
he said, take your ass to the barn, talk to these lunatics.
No, he said you guys were great too. He was really happy to that you let him say hi and all that. So shout out to Chad Carroll.
Yeah, it was nice to meet him.
Yeah, exactly. Tell him to be careful with that. The winters up there are brutal, dude.
He was he was in there with the blowtorch. He was trying to start the fire. That's what he was doing with that earlier. So,
dude, I've been all over, not all over Canada, but I've been to Canada, and there's so many lakes, and been to Alaska. So I've been in the cold weather. I'm not a stranger to it. And I used to go all the time to Colorado. Even I would go there in the wintertime. My dad liked it up there. Not all of it. He just liked certain places he would take us. And we used to go to Oregon and California, with places that my dad liked in the Northwest. He liked certain places in the far Northeast, but he didn't like the Yankees. He didn't like the people that were certain places that he was just like, man. He liked the Yankees in like Wisconsin and Minnesota and Michigan. He didn't like the ones in the Northeast. He was just like, he just couldn't stand that.
It's like being here in Quebec. It's a great place except for the frogs.
Frogs?
Let's talk about French people.
Oh. A little slow on the uptake sometimes.
Yeah. All right. Yeah.
Right after I talk about a French family.
Richard over here having. All right, guys. We'll see you.
Okay,
thank you for tuning in, everybody. All right.
Love you guys.
Love you guys too. They're great people, by the way.
Who?
The people up here.
Which people?
All jokes. The frogs, they're the best.
But yeah, they're better than whatever everybody else's are now.
Yeah.
We'll see you guys. Good night.
Love you guys. Bye.
Love you. Good night.
These leaders so corrupt. I say it's time for a change. No more politicians playing their games. We the people need to rise, we need to wake up. They're drinking our blood from a golden cup. When is enough enough? It's time for unity, it's time to get tough. No more lifetime politicians. You get 4 years, then you find another mission. We the people need to rise, we need to wake up. They're drinking our blood from a golden cup. We work all day for bills that we gotta pay. It's still not enough, so we hope and pray. Now they're trying to make that even go away. We gotta stand firm, we gotta stand strong. But it's hard when we can't get along. We the people need to rise, we need to wake up. They're drinking our blood from their golden cups. We the people need to rise, we need to wake up. They're drinking our blood from their golden cup. We aren't all birds of a feather, but we better learn to stand strong together. You better wake up and choose a side. Who you rolling with, ride or die. We aren't all birds of a feather, but we better learn to stand strong together. Wake up and choose a side. Who you rolling with, ride or ride. We the people need to rise, we need to wake up. They're drinking our blood from a golden cup. We the people need to rise, we need to wake up. They're drinking our blood from a golden cup. So we the people need to rise.